Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified KidMed site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Keith Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now and start at $29 and can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. Keith Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110, or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Hi, I'm Denisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Balmange and Games and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Eye-catching elegance, compelling styles, luxurious comfort. These are the features you look for in your furniture. At Trotters, it's what we're all about, and choosing your look gets easier with our design consultants Molly Hunt and Rebecca Smith. Trotters has 2 stories and over 20,000 square feet of Central Louisiana's most sought-after furniture, and it's all available with 24 months no-interest financing. Your home is your favorite place. Love it even more with new furniture, because everything's better when you get it from Trotters.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world, like the all-expense paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Valmange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified Kid Med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
It's time for the Scripture of the Day. And now, the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Good morning. It's Bianca Brown with your Scripture of the Day. Today's scripture comes from the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 15. But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear. Today's scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like to learn how you can give a reason for the hope of Christ that's in your heart, you can do so by contacting the church. You can give the Monroe Street Church of Christ a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Brother Jesse Allen, or write the Monroe Street Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will continue to lift you up in prayer and in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
Resolution. Read 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 1 through 6. Read Acts 15, 36 through 41. Acts 15, 36 through 41. And they also give 1 Corinthians 9, 1 through 6. That's Acts 15, 36 through 41. 1 Corinthians 9, 1 through 6. Now Acts 15, 39 says the contention became so sharp that they parted from one another. In May of 1884, two young parents disagreed about what middle name to give their newborn son. The mom preferred Solomon, the dad Ship, both family names. Because John and Martha couldn't agree, they compromised on S. Thus, Harry S. Truman would become the only U.S. president with an initial as a middle name. Over 120 years later, we still know about this conflict, but we also know that a reasonable resolution was reached. In the New Testament, we read about another disagreement that has lived on in history. This one was between two missionaries, Paul and Barnabas, Acts 15. Barnabas wanted to take Mark with them on a trip to check on some churches they had held previously, verse 37. But Paul did not trust Mark because of an earlier incident, verse 38. Paul and Barnabas disagreed so sharply that they parted ways, verse 39. We still read about this argument 2,000 years later. What's important is not that it lived on in history, but that it didn't leave permanent relationship scars. Paul apparently reconciled with Barnabas,
And in his final days, ask for Mark to be with him because, quote, he is useful to me for ministry. 2 Timothy 4:11. Arguments happen, but let's make sure they are resolved. Grudges are a burden too heavy to carry. Arguments can lead to grudges, which, if left, will cause a rift. But if we bring resolution, our relationships won't drift. A grudge is one thing that doesn't get better when it's nursed. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bon Mange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
All right, top of the morning to Rick. How are you doing this morning? Thank God it is Friday. Yes, good morning. Ready to go. What do you think? I got everything straight for Father's Day for your husband? Because over here she says something like so she said, we're like barely shaved up, can't even hear it. We're like second-class citizens. Still can't hear it. Just a little bit more for me. Perfect. There you go. Perfect right there. Top of the morning to you on this Juneteenth and Father's Day weekend. If you'd like to call throughout the show and wish your dad, your father, a happy Father's Day, you most certainly can do that. So we wish you a Father's Day on you. Happy Father's Day weekend. On top of the morning to you. This Juneteenth celebration day, today is the federal holiday in full effect. Some people are off cue. I think, I don't know if the banks or the post offices is closed. They may very well be, considering that it just got passed this week. And went into effect immediately. So some employers were scrambling to make sure that they can get people off today, but if not, because it actually falls on tomorrow, the Juneteenth weekend, which we're expected to be under weather advisories from today all the way through to tomorrow. So if you have any outdoor activities planned for Juneteenth, you may need to make some alternative plans. What you should be doing is, certainly if you're in the low-lying areas of Louisiana, is preparing for the worst and expecting the best. So get your water, get your batteries, get your flashlights. Flooding is going to be a problem that we still cannot mitigate here in the state of Louisiana. This after a drain-soaked ground all throughout Louisiana. Flooded bayous, estuaries, ditches, canals, and the like. And rivers are all inundated at record levels. So any other rain up to 10 inches is going to be problematic. This morning we have Tamisha Victoria in Oban, Louisiana, holding its first Juneteenth celebration on tomorrow. Yours truly. I'm expecting it, weather permitting, to drive down there and say a few words, so I'm honored in order to do so. So we're going to be talking to her by way of phone, telling us about the Juneteenth activities. You may want to hear up north. They got a big deal taking place all weekend with the, I think it's the Gamma Road, something of the Lakeside Fire, having the Local Good Times Road Festival. And in combination weekend, they got everybody working. All kind of acts, bands, food, activities, bingo booths, concerts, and the like. So we're going to take that chance and head up north. I don't think they're going to get much rain up there, so that would be the place to go. Can't speak so much about what's going on here in Central Louisiana. We won't notify of what's going on. So they're on the island. With that said, we have your Know the Right segment brought to you by the People's Lawyer, Walter Gaylor, Court TV legal analyst, personal injury, wrongful death, and a civil rights lawyer with offices in Louisiana and Atlanta. He'll be joining us live from Atlanta this morning with your Know the Right segment. We'll be visiting with Representative Randall Gaines, former chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, and of course our Rapids Fair School Willard Day with Mr. Willard Bubba McCall telling you about all the summer activities taking place at the school system and what they're doing, trying to get raises, turning Peabody back into a magnet school, and many other things that are going to be certainly good for World Horse Nation. Topping our news this morning, one person is dead this morning on the Cedar Avenue, on Cedardale Avenue in Baton Rouge, according to police. We try to give you statewide news. After implicating himself in all-state agent slaying man, the resident told funeral friends to stay silent. We'll tell you about that. That jury trial is underway. After cussing out a police officer during the welfare check, a Baton Rouge attorney alleges excessive force. He got two broken ribs and a punching on the rib sheet. So, he had a son that weekend. I guess she couldn't get him or the son on the phone for whatever reason. So she sent the cops to his house. Bad idea. So they can't even get a so-called welfare check. Like, I don't think the court would put the child in his hands if he has joint custody for his visitation at the mother, because she can't reach him for every reason. Any reason to send the cops over to his house. I can understand why he's upset. So after he was notified and knocked on the door, he made the sound of the cross, and then the cops kept asking him questions. He went off. I'll tell you what he had to say. It wasn't pretty. But cussing out a cop is illegal. Yeah, it's illegal. Whether it's in your house, outside your house, out in your area, they cannot arrest you for First Amendment right, protecting the speech. What they're going to do is they're going to group you in. They're going to say you resisted arrest, but arrest for what? For speaking profane language to them? No, I'm not big when people swear, because the Holy Spirit is in you. Whatever's coming out of your mouth, you are putting the Holy Spirit in an uncompromising position, in a position where it doesn't want to be, because it can't be around sin. So, choose your words wisely, especially if you're black, poor, and you have to deal with police organizations. But if you're an attorney and you got it like that, you can sue them, I guarantee you he's going to get some money out of it. And for police officers, it is not a crime for somebody to give you the finger or to cuss you out. It's not a crime. Just stick your little pride in there. Your job is to protect their rights, and part of their right is freedom of speech and expression. So cussing you out, even though you may not like it, you may feel some sort of way that they're disrespecting you as a law enforcement of the law, the hell with that. This is America. And folks, stop knowing your rights and being scared of police. You can cuss them out, tell them to get the heck off of your property or whatever else you want to say. Just have your family in when you're at food, do what this attorney do. Hire you a lawyer and take him to court. And get your money, man. Speaking of money, $1 million jackpot scholarships, COVID-19 vaccine lottery announced in Louisiana. It's called what is it called? Something that means shots of millions. Shots of millions, folks. So if you had at least one shot, you qualify. And award $100,000 scholarships to winners ages 12 to 17 and push the adolescents to go, with 4 $100,000 cash prizes plus a $1 million award for those 18 and older. The first of 5 weekly drawings will begin on July the 14th, so you have to register for it. We'll tell you how to do that. Arsenal Health to take over 7 hospitals. Mississippi-based provider is in major Gulf Coast expansion. She's also held a Gorilla Globe. Now the Louisiana native has her own hair care line. How about that, Q? Look her up. As another storm approaches, Governor John Bel Edwards announces $136 million in federal aid for southwest Louisiana. Flash flood watch issued for Baton Rouge, New Orleans areas from Friday through Sunday. And finally, possible tropical storm to make landfall in Louisiana on Saturday. We'll tell you what warnings are issued. System will be named Claudette when it reaches tropical storm first before making landfall somewhere near Morgan City. All that and a whole lot more coming up. It's 46 minutes past the hour. Right here in your premium morning news magazine. This is Eyes Open. Phone lines are always open. 318-403-9977. That's 318-403-9977. And wish someone happy Father's Day. Give us a call. We'll put you on the radio. 318-403-9977. Put in the flowers right now, folks. Good night.
This is your statewide news you can use on this, thank God, it is Friday. Happy Juneteenth and Father's Day weekend. We're going to start down in Baton Rouge. It is the 18th day of the month of June. Of course, tomorrow being Juneteenth, it is now a federal and a state holiday. Down in Baton Rouge, one person is dead this morning in a shooting that took place on Perkins Road near the campus of LSU. The shooting took place Thursday around 8:15 p.m. in the 2100 block of Cedardale Avenue. The person's injuries were fatal. So far, no more details on the latest murder in Baton Rouge. A Baton Rouge man accused in a 2017 robbery-related slaying of an Allstate employee implicated himself in a homicide and then told a female friend she would regret it if she didn't keep silent, the woman told the jury Thursday. 38-year-old Darrell Johnson is standing trial on counts of second-degree murder and witness intimidation in the killing of 53-year-old Central resident Dale Sands. Quista Williams, whose 9-year-old son found Sands' body in the backyard of their Great Smoky Avenue home the afternoon of August the 23rd of 2017, described Johnson as a, quote, friend with benefits and said he lived with her at the time. Williams, who recalled hearing a gunshot the afternoon of August 22nd, 2017, said Johnson came home that night in a green F-150 double cab, the same type of truck that Sands drove. She said Johnson, who did not own a vehicle, told her the truck belonged to his boss. The woman she said she overheard Johnson saying in an August 24, 2017 phone call that I didn't have a chance to move the body. Williams said she later asked about the statement. He told me, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to, she testified while being questioned by prosecutor April Leon. Later that day, Williams said Johnson had her drive him west of Baton Rouge, where he ultimately was picked up by another woman at a truck stop. He told me to keep my mouth shut, Williams testified. Williams said she then drove back to Baton Rouge without Johnson, who was arrested August the 30th, 2017 in Eunice, Louisiana. And a local attorney sued the Baton Rouge Police Department earlier this week, claiming officers used excessive force during a welfare check, which escalated after a profane outburst from the lawyer and ended up with him handcuffed to a hospital bed receiving treatment for broken ribs and a punctured lung. Baton Rouge attorney Jeffrey Sanford was booked into jail last August after his release from the hospital. He was later charged with felony resisting a police officer with force of violence. The criminal case is ongoing. Sanford filed his lawsuit Wednesday in Baton Rouge Federal Court seeking damages from the city. He claims Corporal Joshua Kirst and Officer Abear Allen violated his constitutional rights. A BRPD spokesperson said the department conducted an internal investigation soon after the incident and cleared both officers of wrongdoing. Officials declined to comment on the specific allegations from Sanford, whose complaint presents his perspective of what happened the night of August 23rd. His ex-wife asked police to check on their son, who was 12 at the time, and staying with his dad because she was unable to reach them by phone. According to the lawsuit, the officers knocked on the door and told Sanford why they were there. Quote, upon hearing that his ex-wife called the police, Mr. Sanford did the sign of the cross, the complaint reads. He said her concern was wholly unfounded and without factual basis, and he became upset that the police, unannounced, had interrupted his evening with a non-criminal matter without either prior notice or a warrant. So according to the lawsuit, he calmly gave the officers a message for his ex-wife. Tell her to suck 10 million, well, use your imagination. Kurtz responded by saying he understood the sentiment according to the complaint, but then the officer tried to keep asking questions. Sanford said, F you.
and started to close the door. His profane speech was protected under the First Amendment right of freedom of speech, his attorney argued in the complaint. Kirsten, visibly angry, and told Sanford not to talk to him like that. The complaint says the officers barged into the house without permission, a warrant, or probable cause of a crime being committed, according to Sanford. Once inside, a physical confrontation ensued. The lawsuit accuses Kirst of violently striking Mr. Sanford while Allen used a stun gun on him to subdue him. LSU Health Shreveport Chancellor Dr. Gally E. Gally announced Thursday afternoon that he would resign effective immediately as head of the medical school in Shreveport just a day after he was reinstated to the post. Yeah, we reported this story Wednesday, said he was back on the job. Gally, who became chancellor in February 2016, wrote that he would return to work as a faculty member. Quote, according to LSU President Tom Galligan, and in an email to LSU Health Shreveport employees, we have accepted Dr. Gally's request, and Dr. David Lewis, who has been serving as acting chancellor, will be interim chancellor while we conduct a search for the next chancellor. I guess the brother had to step in. Gally was put on administrative leave for about 2 months following claims from physicians and staffers at LSU Health Shreveport that he had retaliated against them for raising sexual misconduct allegations against top administrators at the medical school. An investigation into the claims, which has not been released publicly, cleared Gally of improper conduct. Gally said in a statement Wednesday night, LSU confirmed his statement and reinstated Gally as a chancellor on Wednesday. 1 day later, he's resigning. Read in between the lines, folks. Louisiana residents, the good old boy network has been fractured. Louisiana residents who get a COVID-19 vaccine by the end of July will be eligible to enter to win $1 million jackpot, Governor John Bel Edwards announced on Thursday. It's one of 14 cash prizes and scholarship awards totaling $2.3 million that Louisiana will dole out in weekly drawings beginning next month as part of a campaign to juice the state's dismal vaccination rate. But any Louisiana resident who has received at least one dose of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine or the single-dose Johnson & Johnson shot is eligible for the lottery. Louisiana will award 9 $100,000 scholarships to winners ages 12 to 17, along with 4 $100,000 cash prizes and a $1 million award for those 18 and older. The first of 5 weekly drawings will begin on July the 14th. Registration for the drawing begins Monday at noon and is limited to Louisiana residents who have received at least one shot. The sign-up is available through the state's ShotAmillion.com. That's ShotAmillion.com website, or by calling 1-877-356-1511 once registration begins. No word on people who've actually gotten the shot if both doses can enter that, or at least one dose of Pfizer. The details on that are unclear. Oshner Health, Louisiana's largest healthcare provider, will take over the 7-hospital Rush Health System in Mississippi and Alabama, expanding Oshner's reach across the Gulf Coast. Rush and Oshner announced Thursday that the two nonprofits had signed a shared mission agreement that builds up on existing partnership started in 2019. Under the new pact, Oshner will add 2,800 Rush employees, bringing its total to 35,000 doctors, nurses, and other workers. The deal represents a major geographic expansion for Oshner and will turn the dominant healthcare provider in Louisiana into a regional player with a significantly larger footprint in Mississippi and access to the Alabama health market for the first time. A Louisiana woman who went viral after she used Gorilla Glue spray in her hair to make it hold is launching her own hair care line after surgery and a months-long recovery process to regrow her hair. Tessica Brown, a St. Bernard Parish native, became known as the Gorilla Glue Girl after going viral on TikTok in February for mistakenly spraying the super strong glue in her hair when she ran out of hairspray. After a weeks-long battle to remove the glue in a sedated 4-hour procedure in California, in addition to 4 months of regrowing her hair, Brown has launched a hair line called Forever Hair that she said has helped her grow back the locks she lost. She told the Times-Picayune on Thursday. Louisiana Southwestern parishes were awarded the bulk of a $136 million in funding from FEMA on Thursday for long-term recovery projects aimed at reducing the risk of future flooding, including buyouts, elevations, and drainage improvements. Governor John Bel Edwards announced the relief Thursday, flanked by FEMA's newly installed administrator, Deanne Criswell, as a nearby weather map flashed images of tropical disturbance that dropped up to 8 inches of rain on South Louisiana through the weekend. With that said, the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for much of southeast Louisiana from Friday afternoon through Sunday morning as tropical system approaches the Gulf Coast. 6 to 10 inches of rain could fall in the area with locally high amounts. The rain could overwhelm drainage systems, with some of the heaviest hit areas experiencing flash flood. The warning stretches from just east of Morgan City all the way past Biloxi and from the coast up to Macomb. And finally, the New Orleans area, the river parishes, and 3 central Louisiana coastal parishes are under a tropical storm warning for a weak but moisture-intense low-pressure system that is likely to strengthen before making landfall near Morgan City early Saturday, according to the National Hurricane Center. In southeast Louisiana, the warning covers Ascension, Livingston, Jefferson, Orleans, Lafourche, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Tammany, Tangible, Hoare, and Terrebonne parishes. Along the central coast, it covers Iberia, St. Mary, Vermilion, but not Lafayette. Including the heavy rainfall advisories, Baton Rouge and adjacent parishes are in the warning area. The storm could deliver wind gusts of greater than 45 miles per hour and a possible tornado or two in southeast Louisiana from Friday evening through Saturday. I'm Tony Brown. I want you to have a marvelous Juneteenth holiday and have an awesome Father's Day weekend. I'm Tony Brown. That's your Eyes Open news you can use. Be blessed. Right here in your Premier Morning News magazine. Guess who is back with us in the studio? Little King Johnson. We haven't seen him in almost a couple of weeks. I think we saw him every one day this week. So he's been chilling. He's been chillaxing for the summer, doing the summer thing with his grandparents and everything. Get up to the microphone there, man. Make sure you get all the way up. Get up on your knees like you normally do. Put the book over here so you're looking towards the camera. See, when you take a look at you, you forget the old school. All right. So how was your summer? I mean, how you been doing with your summer so far? How's you been doing? Look at me. You been doing fine? Never eyes looking at your phone like you're going to over to right now. You okay? All right. So tell me before we do the prayer, what you been doing? What you been doing for the summer?
Living in my papa's house.
Okay. Okay, we're going to get straight to the prayer. What you got for us?
David.
Speak up for us, Kate. I want you to speak up a little later than that, okay?
David, It's always more easy to remember. Please help me think of others first, just like Jesus did. Amen.
Amen. Okay, all right. We'll do a little bit longer than this time. Yeah, I'll practice there. So, but that is a good prayer. Thank you, Katie. Appreciate that. We have Marty Calhoun. She's a meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles. Hey, Marty, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
How are we doing? Fine. Let's talk about what's out there in the Gulf of Mexico. So, how's it looking right now?
Well, yesterday, our storm developed into what we're calling potential tropical cyclone 3. That means we're now able to produce some products on it that I'm sure you folks have seen on social media. It's ticked eastward. It's been trending that direction, and so expected conditions of rainfall and wind speeds are trending downward. What we're looking for is generally 1 to 3 inches or so of rain across the area this weekend, and wind gusts upwards of 20 miles per hour. We'll continue to watch the trend on this system, but it's looking better.
Okay, so right now we have, the governor has already issued in preparation for the possible deluge and state of emergency for some areas, I mean, New Orleans area, river parishes, and 3 central Louisiana coastal parishes are under the tropical storm warning. What does that really mean, tropical storm warning?
Yeah, tropical storm warning means that tropical storm winds are expected to begin or to arrive within the next 24 to 36 hours.
Well, the good thing I see down here on the where the rain and where it comes is Calcasieu Parish is not in that equation.
Yes, actually, because of that eastern trend on the storm, and it's what we call an eastern loaded or east side loaded storm, it means that most of its impacts have shifted eastward, and even though the storm's going to make landfall in that near to Calcasieu Parish, the higher wind speeds are going to be located east of that location, and so they didn't include Calcasieu Parish in that tropical storm warning.
Okay, so that is the tropical, when is it expected to make rainfall, and do you expect it to be a named storm before it does so?
Yeah, currently the Hurricane Center, the National Hurricane Center, has it expected to strengthen and develop and potentially become a tropical storm later on today, but actually maybe even later on this morning. Once it reaches that tropical storm distinction, that's when it would be receiving its name.
Okay. And right now, when do they actually expect it to hit the Gulf Coast?
A lot of times right now, about midnight on Saturday, but don't forget that even though the center may be arriving at midnight on Saturday, Saturday morning, so to midnight tonight, even though the center may arrive at that time, the impacts are going to be arriving well in advance. So our rain chances and our wind speeds will be picking up before midnight tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, man. You gotta try and stay safe. Have a happy Juneteenth, and make sure you call your daughter for Father's Day, okay?
Yes, sir. Y'all do the same.
All right, thank you, sweetie. Marty Calhoun, meteorologist for the National Weather Service, and Lake Charles, and it's located Johnson with, of course, the kids' prayer for the day. More eyes open when we come back. Don't go away.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5 The Vibe and 1110 AM KGTP Alexandria Pineville.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified kid med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality healthcare and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. And visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, I'm Anisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now and start at $29 and can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. Keep Sweat. Saturday, June 26th at 8 p.m. Paragon Casino Resort.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified kid med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
All right, we're back right here in your premier morning news magazine. Not only is it Father's Day weekend, so y'all remember, folks, on Friday, yes, fathers, y'all know y'all expect a phone call or a text, because that's about all y'all getting. When mamas get to go to dinner, breakfast in bed, flowers and roses, all we get is some socks if we're lucky. You're not going to get a gift. So the fact that your children, even if they're grown, the most you're going to get is a text or a phone call. So don't be surprised. Don't set yourself up for failure. And just recognize them calling you, because they don't call you when you leave home as much as you're supposed to, because you only hear from them when you need money. It is what it is. So for them to call you or not ask for money and say, hey, just thinking about you on Father's Day, it's your one day. So make sure that you don't have to do any work. Go to worship service and be the head of your household. Truly be the head of your household, because God put you in charge. And if there's no man in your household, certainly, bottom line is, back in the day, I used to get my mama a Father's Day card. That's how I rolled, Q. When I was 8, 9 years old. He wasn't there. I didn't see him much. Although I had a daddy, we were married for 10 years, but we went to Mama. Mama was the authority. And there's many households in America to this very day that doesn't have a man or a stable man or a reliable man who's in the house. But there is somebody who can be a role model and a mentor to their child, whether they're at church, whether it's an uncle, whether it's anybody in leadership. Not the little sagging dope dealer in the corner. That's not a mentor. That's not something that they need to look forward to or look up to in any event. So make sure, of course, you reach out to those fathers. And I'm talking about a daddy, because anybody can make a baby and be a daddy. But a father is a big difference in raising your child and being a part of their life. And I hear all the amens out there, Brother Brown. Let's go live right now to Denisha Victorian. She is on the committee, the Juneteenth committee there in Allen Parish. And believe it or not, Oberlin is having their very first Juneteenth, and very significant day, Tanisha, to not only have it recognized as a federal holiday for the first time ever, but Louisiana having it as a state holiday. Good morning, welcome to Eyes Open, Ms. Victoria. How are you doing, sister?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
So what a great occasion, and the timeliness of it, Oberlin having their first one, and the feds having their first official one, as well as the state. Did y'all have something to do with that?
No, but I hope we have something to do with it being highlighted locally, because that was our goal. And it started actually prior to the recognition. We started out a couple of months ago. It was about 6 of us members from the parish. Ms. Samantha Jefferson reached out to several of us in the community, and we formed a committee. and we basically wanted to promote unity and education for what Juneteenth meant for us and our youth and families in our parish.
Yeah, for many people who don't realize the significance of Juneteenth, unfortunately, I heard an actor say this morning, and it certainly is the case, where here we are now celebrating it as a federal holiday, even in Louisiana as a state holiday, and it's not taught to our children in school. That's going to be a problem, certainly something that we will need to mitigate in the future, but I didn't realize what Juneteenth was until I went to college in Houston, which is, of course, the site of Emancipation Park, the site where the first Juneteenth celebration was there in Houston at a park that's still going to this day called Emancipation Park. So the significance of Juneteenth is that in 1862, I stand corrected, Abraham Lincoln, in the last quarter of the year, it was during the Civil War, signed the Emancipation Proclamation to go into effect on January the 1st of 1863. It was not until June 19th of 1865, 2.5 years later, when General Gordon Granger, with Executive Order Number 9, landed in Galveston, Texas, at the port of Galveston with federal troops, Yankee troops, and they went from county to county in Texas, plantation to plantation, making sure that those slaves who were unaware that they had actually been free and working as slaves for 2.5 years illegally, being held captive basically by their slave masters. There was no consequences or repercussions for those slave masters. They, of course, had to release their slaves by federal order and gun. Not because they wanted to, but because troops came down with guns and passed out little bitty copies, although we didn't want to read, because that was prevented, little copies of the Emancipation Proclamation to slaves who didn't know how to read, and they went all over from Texas, starting in Galveston, making their way to Harris County, up there in Texas, then they came east to Louisiana, where they had the same problem, emancipating, going from plantation to plantation, because Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi were the biggest offenders. So with that said, we're talking about the significance of not only having our freedom, and really when I talk to people, we really and truly get our freedom to the 1964 Voting Rights Act. So significantly on a federal level, we got our freedom on January the 1st of 1863, 2.5 years later, when we got the memo. And it was at the end of a gun by federal troops who were going from plantation to plantation. So that's the significance of it. Not only to remember the freedom for former slaves, but also the law, the 2.5 years that they had to work for free at the hands of their white oppressors. So that's a quick history lesson. So when we look at that, when we hear that story that's not being taught, you have a child that's in the public school system right now, Tanisha, don't you think this is a curriculum that needs to be taught to all Americans? Because this is American history.
Yes, I really do. And that was one of the things that sparked the conversation amongst the committee members, because most of us have children who are school age, and we found ourselves having to explain what Juneteenth was really about, because history is taught in schools, but black history, African American history is part of history. It's hard to teach American history without teaching black history as well. And we found that our children lack that understanding, and often, like you said yourself, as well as I didn't get exposed to that until college. And when we do that, that's way too late. It's way too late at that point. So this was a good start for us to bring that kind of education into the community, basically, and get, especially those families that don't have the opportunity to live outside of the community, to be exposed to that kind of culture. Or may not be seen it, online enough, because it wasn't celebrated nationally.
Yeah, now 10 years ago, I couldn't see Louisiana doing this. We've done a lot this legislative session, including making Juneteenth an official holiday. But with that said, is it being embraced there in Allen Parish? And did you guys get any financial support from any municipalities? Go ahead and let us know who helped out.
Oh, wow. We have had tremendous support support. We reached out to the community, with Casado Casino of Louisiana, was one of our major sponsors.
Great.
With a diamond sponsorship. We've had support from Joe Harmon and the Harmonics, which is the live band. We're featuring several councilmen and women throughout Allen Parish, from several different towns, local leaders like the DA's office, the tax assessor's office, local businesses, everyone, and even just families. We've had families that were so happy to see a celebration as such for their children, and families to support. And we filled up with vendors, food vendors, youth vendors, organizations, you name it, we've had the support, and everybody's so excited to have it. And it's a free event. We made games and different things for the kids to be able to enjoy, and that was the main thing, because we wanted the families to not have to worry about coming out and not being able to enjoy something, and making it a unity type thing, and just have it educational wise, because we will have education spaces out about Juneteenth and speakers. We're happy to have you as well as one of our guest speakers, and we have so many people that come in. We've also looked at we're featuring the oldest living African American in Allen Parish, some of our educators who are in the parish who taught several of us who've never been acknowledged and highlighted for what they brought to the community, as well as our Greek organizations, and African American organizations such as the NAACP, several of our Divine Nine organizations. We're asking to come out because a lot of our kids never get to see these organizations until they decide to go to college or they're at other African American functions. And we have families who are part of I'm going to say some geographical disadvantaged areas who may not be able to travel outside of the parish to see those types of organizations and meet people, in that way. So we want to show support. So we're also asking all of those organizations and groups to come out and be available for families and youth to just meet them and see them and meet them.
That is fantastic. Sounds like y'all have a perfect Juneteenth celebration because it's supposed to be free. Outside of supporting those vendors, certainly some of those African American owned businesses, lots of great things. The activities, the festivities. Back at Emancipation Park, I was doing the research. They had sack races, they had horseshoes. Families brought food. It was like a big family reunion and picnic because we didn't have much coming out of slavery in the 1800s. They did have some diners or some businesses that were, that were really profitable, not white business, but black business, because we kept it all in-house. And it did take a whole lot of resources for people to cook some food, to fry some chicken, to make some potato salad, to get some old croaker sacks and cut the legs out of them. Everybody had horseshoes, and of course they had dominoes, but it was more about it was about freedom, family, and fellowship. I call it through us. Freedom, family, and fellowship. And that's what a traditional Juneteenth celebration should be all about, not at the expense of the people. But this is our Independence Day. Because, we can say 4th of July and all that, but, while they were doing fireworks, and you could add another for, eventually when I get enough money, I can start doing some fireworks, like you're doing Independence Day, their Independence Day. So freedom, fellowship, fireworks, and of course family. Not exactly in that order, but that's normally the template that you can utilize. So what time the activities are going to get started, and where is it going to be?
We're going to start off with a parade. The parade lineup will start at 9 o'clock on this coming Saturday, tomorrow, and it'll be, the lineup will be near the Allen Parish Civic Center. Okay. And we will take the parade route through Oberlin. And the parade will start at 10 o'clock sharp. We have floats, trucks, cars, trailers, horses, line dancers, everyone from all over, and we'll spill over after the parade. We'll spill over into Veterans Memorial Park in Oakland, which is not far, maybe a few blocks from there. And like I said, we'll have the festivities to start there with the DJ, crafts, food vendors, and praise dances, speakers, and activities for the kids. So we'll be there until about 4 o'clock that afternoon. So that it'll be from 10 to 4.
Now, you're talking about the weather situation. I think that area, through the grace of God, is not going to have as much rain because it's pushed more towards the east area, the Baton Rouge, Northern City area. So that's a blessing in itself because I know y'all been watching the weather.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're here for what we understand. We're supposed to be blessed. And we are, although we are praying for those who may be affected. We're hopefully looking forward to some good weather. And we have shade. We're asking people to bring lawn chairs, pop-up tents, whatever they may have. Although we'll have tents and we have a lot of shade out there, but we're hopeful that with the big turnout, which we've gotten some good support, we may run out of shade. So we want the people just to have it on hand just in case they need it. But we have plenty of space, and so we're looking forward to it. And we're praying that, weather-wise, we will be blessed in this area. Thank God.
And I don't think, thank God, we're running out of shade because if you don't have a pop-up tent or umbrella, just get under one of those beautiful oak trees that Allen Parish is famous for. Amen? We call it a shade tree, Sister Victoria. We were not, folks, when I met Tanisha, when I started telling her about my roots and my lineage coming out of the King River and my grandmother on my dad's side, residing and coming to Oberlin area. In fact, I used to ride with my grandmama on my dad's side, Dorothy Ware, up to Oberlin to come see some of her kinfolk. And then she started telling me that, she's kin to the Seasons and she's a Victorian and that's in my family. So we might be kin, you know what I'm saying? It might be second or third cousins down the line, but I'm pretty sure that when the DNA chart gets mapped out, that you'll now find that we're in the same lineage. So I'm glad to come down and spend not only with new friends but also to fellowship with family. So God bless y'all. Thank the committee for inviting me to be one of the speakers, and I look really forward to it tonight. That's Tanisha Victorian with the Oberlin celebrating its first annual Juneteenth celebration. Parade lineup at 9 o'clock. It kicks off right there at 10 o'clock and, of course, ends in Memorial Park there in Oberlin. Of course, a lot of speaking. They kick off everything with the Civic Center there. So that's going to be a wonderful traditional Juneteenth. Y'all go out and support that. Thanks, Tanisha. We'll see you tomorrow, sweetie.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and I appreciate you allowing me to come and fellowship and speak on behalf of the committee, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much.
All right, sister, you take care. God bless. And of course, we're going to have more eyes open when we come back and more programming right here on 107.5 Divine 1110 AM KTTP.
With Tony Brown on FM 107.5 The Vibe and 1110 AM KGTP Alexandria Pineville.
Hello everyone, I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this Thank God It is Friday. Happy Juneteenth and Father's Day weekend. We're going to start down in Baton Rouge. It is the 18th day of the month of June. Of course, tomorrow being Juneteenth, it is now a federal and a state holiday. Down in Baton Rouge, one person is dead this morning in a shooting that took place on Perkins Road near the campus of LSU. The shooting took place Thursday around 8:15 p.m. in the 2100 block of Cedardale Avenue. The person's injuries were fatal. So far, no more details on the latest murder in Baton Rouge. A Baton Rouge man accused in the 2017 robbery-related slaying of an Allstate employee implicated himself in the homicide and then told a female friend she would regret it if she didn't keep silent, the woman told a jury Thursday.
38-year-old Darrell Johnson is standing trial on counts of second-degree murder and witness intimidation in the killing of 53-year-old Central resident Dale Sands. Krista Williams, whose 9-year-old son found Sands' body in the backyard of their Great Smoky Avenue home the afternoon of August the 23rd of 2017, described Johnson as a, quote, friend with benefits, and said he lived with her at the time. Williams, who recalled hearing a gunshot the afternoon of August 22nd, 2017, said Johnson came home that night in a green F-150 double cab, the same type of truck that Sands drove. She said Johnson, who did not own a vehicle, told her the truck belonged to his boss. The woman she said she overheard Johnson saying in an August 24, 2017 phone call that I didn't have a chance to move the body. Williams said she later asked about the statement. He told me, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to, she testified while being questioned by prosecutor April Leon. Later that day, Williams said Johnson had her drive him west of Baton Rouge, where he ultimately was picked up by another woman at a truck stop. He told me to keep my mouth shut, Williams testified. Williams said she then drove back to Baton Rouge without Johnson, who was arrested August the 30th, 2017 in Eunice, Louisiana. A local attorney sued the Baton Rouge Police Department earlier this week, claiming officers used excessive force during a welfare check, which escalated after a profane outburst from the lawyer and ended up with him handcuffed to a hospital bed receiving treatment for broken ribs and a punctured lung. Baton Rouge attorney Jeffrey Sanford was booked into jail last August after his release from the hospital. He was later charged with felony resisting a police officer with force of violence. The criminal case is ongoing. Sanford filed his lawsuit Wednesday in Baton Rouge Federal Court seeking damages from the city. He claims Corporal Joshua Kirst and Officer Aber Allen violated his constitutional rights. A BRPD spokesperson said the department conducted an internal investigation soon after the incident and cleared both officers of wrongdoing. Officials declined to comment on the specific allegations from Sanford, whose complaint presents his perspective of what happened the night of August 23rd. His ex-wife asked police to check on their son, who was 12 at the time and staying with his dad, because she was unable to reach them by phone. According to the lawsuit, the officers knocked on the door and told Sanford why they were there. Quote, upon hearing that his ex-wife called the police, Mr. Sanford did the sign of the cross, the complaint reads. He said her concern was wholly unfounded and without factual basis, and he became upset that the police, unannounced, had interrupted his evening with a non-criminal matter without either prior notice or a warrant. So according to the lawsuit, he calmly gave the officers a message for his ex-wife. Tell her to suck 10 million, well, use your imagination. Kurtz responded by saying he understood the sentiment according to the complaint, but then the officer tried to keep asking questions. Sanford said, F you, and started to close the door. His profane speech was protected under the First Amendment right of freedom of speech, his attorney argued in the complaint. Kurtz then visibly angry and told Sanford not to talk to him like that. The complaint says the officers barged into the house without permission, a warrant, or probable cause of a crime being committed, according to Sanford. Once inside, a physical confrontation ensued. The lawsuit accuses Kurtz of violently striking Mr. Sanford while Allen used a stun gun on him to subdue him. LSU Health Shreveport Chancellor Dr. Gally E. Gally announced Thursday afternoon that he would resign effective immediately as head of the medical school in Shreveport, just a day after he was reinstated to the post. Yeah, we reported this story Wednesday, said he was back on the job. Gally, who became chancellor in February 2016, wrote that he would return to work as a faculty member. Quote, according to LSU President Tom Galligan, and in an email to LSU Health Shreveport employees, we have accepted Dr. Gally's request, and Dr. David Lewis, who has been serving as acting chancellor, will be interim chancellor while we conduct a search for the next chancellor. I guess the brother had to step in. Gally was put on administrative leave for about 2 months following claims from physicians and staffers at LSU Health Shreveport that he had retaliated against them for raising sexual misconduct allegations against top administrators at the medical school. An investigation into the claims, which has not been released publicly, cleared Gally of improper conduct. Gally said in a statement Wednesday night, LSU confirmed his statement and reinstated Gally as a chancellor on Wednesday. 1 day later, he's resigning. Read in between the lines, folks.
The good old boy network has been fractured. Louisiana residents who get a COVID-19 vaccine by the end of July will be eligible to enter to win $1 million jackpot, Governor John Bel Edwards announced on Thursday. It's one of 14 cash prizes and scholarship awards totaling $2.3 million that Louisiana will dole out in weekly drawings beginning next month as part of a campaign to juice the state's dismal vaccination rate. But any Louisiana resident who has received at least one dose of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine or the single-dose Johnson & Johnson shot is eligible for the lottery. Louisiana will award 9 $100,000 scholarships to winners ages 12 to 17, along with 4 $100,000 cash prizes and a $1 million award for those 18 and older. The first of 5 weekly drawings will begin on July the 14th. Registration for the drawing begins Monday at noon and is limited to Louisiana residents who have received at least one shot. The sign-up is available through the state's ShotAmillion.com. That's ShotAmillion.com website, or by calling 1-877-356-1511 once registration begins. No word on people who've actually gotten the shot if both doses can enter that, or at least one dose of Pfizer. The details on that are unclear. Oshner Health, Louisiana's largest healthcare provider, will take over the 7-hospital Rush Health System in Mississippi and Alabama, expanding Oshner's reach across the Gulf Coast. Rush and Oshner announced Thursday that the two nonprofits had signed a shared mission agreement that builds up on existing partnership started in 2019. Under the new pact, Oshner will add 2,800 Rush employees, bringing its total to 35,000 doctors, nurses, and other workers. The deal represents a major geographic expansion for Oshner and will turn the dominant healthcare provider in Louisiana into a regional player with a significantly larger footprint in Mississippi and access to the Alabama health market for the first time. A Louisiana woman who went viral after she used Gorilla Glue spray in her hair to make it hold is launching her own hair care line after surgery and a months-long recovery process to regrow her hair. Tessica Brown, a St. Bernard Parish native, became known as the Gorilla Glue Girl after going viral on TikTok in February for mistakenly spraying the super strong glue in her hair when she ran out of hairspray. After a weeks-long battle to remove the glue in a sedated 4-hour procedure in California, in addition to 4 months of regrowing her hair, Brown has launched a hair line called Forever Hair that she said has helped her grow back the locks she lost. She told the Times-Picayune on Thursday. Louisiana Southwestern parishes were awarded the bulk of a $136 million in funding from FEMA on Thursday for long-term recovery projects aimed at reducing the risk of future flooding, including buyouts, elevations, and drainage improvements. Governor John Bel Edwards announced the relief Thursday, flanked by FEMA's newly installed administrator, Deanne Criswell, as a nearby weather map flashed images of tropical disturbance that dropped up to 8 inches of rain on South Louisiana through the weekend. With that said, the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for much of southeast Louisiana from Friday afternoon through Sunday morning as tropical system approaches the Gulf Coast. 6 to 10 inches of rain could fall in the area with locally high amounts. The rain could overwhelm drainage systems, with some of the heaviest hit areas experiencing flash flood. The warning stretches from just east of Morgan City all the way past Biloxi and from the coast up to Macomb. And finally, the New Orleans area, the river parishes, and 3 central Louisiana coastal parishes are under a tropical storm warning for a weak but moisture-intense low-pressure system that is likely to strengthen before making landfall near Morgan City early Saturday, according to the National Hurricane Center. In southeast Louisiana, the warning covers Assumption, Livingston, Jefferson, Orleans, Lafourche, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Tammany, Tangible, Hoare, and Terrebonne parishes. Along the central coast, it covers Iberia, St. Mary, Vermilion, but not Lafayette. While included in the heavy rainfall advisories, Baton Rouge and adjacent parishes are in the warning area. The storm could deliver wind gusts of greater than 45 miles per hour and a possible tornado or two in southeast Louisiana from Friday evening through Saturday. I'm Tony Brown. I want you to have a marvelous Juneteenth holiday and have an awesome Father's Day weekend. I'm Tony Brown. That's your Eyes Open news you can use.
Be blessed.
After the party, it's the Waffle House. If you never been here, you know what I'm talking about. Where people don't dance, all they do is piss. The original, you know what it is. Can't go down. I got something else to tell you about the new Motown. Where people don't visit, they move out here. And they don't telling who you might see up in Lenny Square. I don't know about you, but I miss the Freaknik. Cause that's when my city used to be real sick. People from other cities used to drive for miles just to come to
Freaknik. Hey, Marvin, what's coming up, man? Yeah, it's going to be over another thing, right? More comes. Yeah, we're back, and of course, welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. That's what I'm talking about. That was cut back in the day. And of course, speaking of Atlanta, let's go live to Atlanta, GA, or Atlanta, where we used to call it back in the day, where we have, of course, my good friend and the people's lawyer, Walter Gable, with our segment that is brought to you by the people's lawyer, attorney Walter Gable, from Court TV, legal analyst, personal injury lawyer, wrongful death, handles these cases as well as civil rights cases as well. And of course, we're glad to have him as a proud underwriting sponsor of Know Your Rights. Fred, always a pleasure. And how's the weather in Atlanta? Is it as hot as they say it is?
It's cool right now. I just had a nice little time outside right before coming on air with you, Fred. Good to be here.
Oh, good to have you. And of course, the topic you selected to discuss this morning is certainly a very important one as it pertains to us, certainly those in the African American community. As you and I have seen played out for nearly a decade now, and many of the 20 years I've had this show here, particularly in Louisiana, that being pulled over by police when you're black, when you just being black, when you're young, it's doubly troublesome. Or even if you're a woman or a young person, it's problematic to be pulled over by police because more often than not we've seen the stories where people just don't make it home. So we're going to talk about what you need to do as pertains when stopped by police, the do's and the don'ts, and most importantly, as Walter and I discussed off air, the key you'd have to admit, Brother Gabriel, is to make it home because you got a lot of young people, they're smart, and they have a legal right under the First Amendment right of freedom of expression. I just saw the newspaper today, cussing out a cop is not a crime. It may not be, what they say, prudent, but it is not a crime and it's not supposed to. In fact, there was an attorney who was suing about News Police Department because they came over to do a welfare check on his child who he had for the weekend. The child was 12 years old, so the estranged wife, or the ex-wife, sent the cops over there, and as an attorney, he was, Rachel, why y'all messing up my weekend with my son? I don't have to answer the phone when I have legal custody of him, and we can share time. So, they were like asking him a whole bunch of questions, and he just, he crossed it, made the sign of the cross, and then after doing that, he went expletive laden, told them, F you, get out of my house, and this, that, and the other, for which they entered his house illegally and commenced to whipping his behind, breaking his ribs, puncturing his lungs, and yesterday he filed a suit. So let me tell people, it may not be prudent to cuss out the police. Certainly if you're pulled over, don't do it. I recommend you getting home safe. And if you have a problem with how they handle you in any way, you hire an attorney. You call me, and I'll call Walter, and you call Walter, and we'll make sure that you get, they get their due in court, and you get the justice that's due to you. Am I right about it, Fred?
Well, in this incident, I'm not going to comment on that incident specifically. Yeah. I'll say this, advice that I give to people, it's not just legal advice. It's advice for just being safe. Yes. Like you were saying, Tony. You want to challenge police action, you do it through a lawyer after the fact. Wherever I say, you want to be courteous, you want to be respectful, you don't want to be nervous, you don't want to be, you don't want to be on that end either. But you need to be respectful, and you need to assert your rights in a respectful manner. That's how not to be, attacked by the police in a situation by making it more hostile than it needs to be.
I absolutely. You want to de-escalate because oftentimes they're coming up full throttle escalation. So we know that's going to be some training that police are going to certainly see, some sensitivity training, and just to learn how to de-escalate a situation instead of escalating. Because there's no reason why Sandra Bland should have gotten pulled over and then it escalated to the point where the cop was beating her up on the side of the road, takes her to jail, and 2 days later she's found murdered in the cell. So that's problematic. So let's talk about this phone situation. When I was down in Bucket a couple of weeks ago, we had a person that was filming a woman allegedly getting a behind whip while handcuffed by Bucket police, but we couldn't see the video because the guy was afraid to approach his neighbor's property. He was afraid of getting any closer for fear that he would get arrested and start getting his behind whipped. I've seen many videos of police saying, put that phone away. And even in some cases where they come and snatch the phone out of the person's hand, because they have body cameras that they like to turn off. But, and because it's problematic for them turning it off, that way you have some sort of record of your stop. So can I have my phone out when I am stopped by the police?
So you're allowed to film police interactions in public. The courts have decided on this. Police interactions are of a public nature to where they're public record, and that's why we can have access to police body cam video if we make an open records request for it. Now, the key is, are you too close to where you're interfering with the police trying to control the situation? As long as you're backed up enough and on a public place like a sidewalk or even a street, you're okay to record. If they say back up, you back up, then you keep recording because you have the right to keep recording. Now, I will say this. I'm not the best with technology, but there are apps to allow you to live stream something on Facebook or Instagram or other social media. So if a phone is taken away, that recording doesn't go away. It stays on. So the police don't have the right to do that, but as we just said, on the street is not the point to tell the police that they're wrong about something. So, if they take the phone away, at least the recording was there before they took it away. But you're not in a place to wrestle that phone back from the police.
Absolutely.
While you're in a situation.
Absolutely, and nowadays, there's these little dash cameras. They have dashboard cameras. Now they make them for vehicles, not only for accident reasons, where you can pull them away in court, but you can actually reverse those and angle it to where, you can see the interaction between you and the police. So I would suggest if you live in a problem area where the police have a reputation of knocking heads and violating people's First Amendment constitutional rights, get a camera. They're not that expensive. You put it on your dash. They run 24 hours a day. It has a little chip, and that's your property, so they can't snatch that off the deal. And I think it's downloaded. Even you can download and have it automatically downloaded into a cloud, but when it's automatically streamed, even if they get the camera, it's still safe, and the content of it is still safe in that same context of what I'm talking to Brother Gabriel about. Now, can I make, because I saw a situation, and you've seen the videos, Frank, guy getting around doing everything right, little black kid, he stepped out of a car, stepped out of a car, he didn't have his wallet on, don't put our wallet in our pocket while we're driving. It's either in the dash, on your armrest, and some people even go to the extreme of putting it into the glove box. I don't recommend that. I recommend that you have it accessible. If the cop asked him for his license and he went into his car without saying, I'm going to reach for my license, and the cop had pulled out his revolver and started shooting at him. Thank God he was wearing fife and didn't have a good shot, but shot at him 3 times. And, the cop was saying that he did that, and the man was lucky to be alive. He was a kid, a young kid. So can I make small movements in my car when I'm stopped before the officer walks to my vehicle?
And let me say, you're not going to prevent every situation under the sun, but there are some things you can do. To answer your question, Tony, you and I have been stopped by police, and everyone listening basically has been stopped in traffic before. You know what happens, the lights flash, and you pull over to the side of the road, and you're just sitting there. You just sit and sit and sit, and it feels like forever. What's going on right then and there is the cop is calling in to dispatch to check the license plate, to see if the car is stolen, see if they can get some background on the car owner, and, you're there for a minute. And what I suggest you do at that time Don't make sudden movements. Don't do anything too fast that would catch an officer's attention while they're seated behind you in their police car behind your car. But that's a good time to get your license out of your wallet or wherever it is. Get your insurance information out. Get your registration out. I would suggest that you hold those papers for when the officer eventually comes to your window, or at least have them in the cup holder. That way, you're not in this position where you're making movements that the officer might confuse for you grabbing a weapon or doing something that would risk officer safety, that would lead them to firing at a person. So you have those papers together. It's a smooth interaction when they come to the car.
Absolutely. I got my insurance card, I got my registration, and any additional paperwork that I need in this one little bitty plastic bin that I actually got from State Farm. It shows, through the little science viewing, the little transparent viewing, my card, my registration, and, my insurance, all of that. So that's the best way where you're not having to dig and shuffle, because, we throw everything in the glove box that's not supposed to be there. We have everything in the glove compartment except blood. So with that said, many people, why call it a glove compartment? Because back in the day, that's where they used to put their gloves. They don't do that anymore. I saw a piece, which brings me to my next question. I was looking at something in these cop shows yesterday. It was one of these ATF, not ATF, but these wildlife and fishery shows where they go out and check people for their license and this, that, and other. And somebody had done something that was someplace, and the wildlife official went up and asked him for their ID. And it was a white woman that he asked, was anybody black? And she refused, and she wouldn't talk to him. And I said, and he went on to tell her, no, you have to tell me your name, and if I answer your ID, you have to give me your ID. She thought she had the right to remain silent. People are getting confused. After you are arrested for something, you have the right to remain silent. But when you have not been arrested and the police are asking you who you are and asking you for some form of identification, my question is, can I remain silent if I'm pulled over by the cops and they pull me over?
A good question, and I'm glad you brought this up. The two things you have to tell the police is your name and what your address is. And it's state law in I think 24 states in America right now. Louisiana, Georgia are two of them. You have to give your name and you have to give your current address. Sometimes the officer will look at your license and go and ask you, is this your address? What's on the license? It's not a crime to have a different address from what's on the license, per se. So, answer the question truthfully. If it's yes, that's fine. If it's no, tell him or her what your current address is. But the last thing you want to do is create some sort of hostility between you and this officer interaction, because you're not understanding this little bit of the law. So in Louisiana, it is the law that you have to give your name and address. That's a traffic stop or on the street. Other than that, though, you do have the right to remain silent on anything that might incriminate you.
Absolutely, that's some good stuff. Do I have to say yes if the officer asks for permission to search my car? You pull people over, you might smell, what you think is alcohol, but, you just have a binocular blast, some of the binoculars you spray with some air freshener or whatever, or even air freshener. For many of them would give them probable cause in their mind to search your car, why would smelling there was air freshener? What is he trying to cover up? So, do I have to say yes when they, I've given them my name, I've given my address, they have my information, my license, my registration, my insurance is straight. I'm not riding dirty, I'm legal. Do I have to say yes just because I'm a black man, I'm in a car, they hear the booming music? Do I have to say yes if they want to search my car, even if they don't have probable cause?
The answer is no. If they have probable cause or if they don't have probable cause and they ask to search your car, the answer is a polite and courteous no. The key to remember here is, you have to remember to be compliant with requests. If they tell you to do something, just comply with the request. If it's a question, can I search? They're asking because they have to ask. And your answer should be no each time. And just, officer, no, I'm not going to consent to that.
You know, let me ask you this, because, sometimes they don't follow the rules. You might follow the rules, but sometimes, then they'll call in the K-9, and then they'll get on the horn, the next thing you know, the tow truck is pulling up, they got the 2 or 3 other spot cars there. What happens in that scenario where you've done everything legally that you can do, but they've already circling the wagons, bringing in the troops in anticipation that you're going to be a problem, that they're going to find something?
Well, if you think an officer is violating your rights, again, that time between, that time where you're in the car is not the time to challenge that. Hopefully you'll have a lawyer appointed to, or you'll hire a lawyer who will defend your rights in a court. And another thing I'd suggest is that you turn your phone, your phone's recording device on before the police officer comes to your car and starts the conversation with you. That way you have a clear record of your refusal to consent to a search. And if it is determined that the officer did not have the right to search after you refused to give permission, well, any evidence that the officer would find is not admissible in court.
Mm-hmm. So that's good stuff right there. That's some good stuff for anybody. So if you out and dirty, you tell them no, and they start searching and they find stuff, you good. If you call it after Gable, you good, because and you got that video rolling that you did not give them consent, and they searched your car anyway. So they found a pound of weed, an ounce of cocaine, a gallon of syrup, any of that stuff, which is illegal to carry, but because the search was illegal, it's not admissible, and that goes away. Is that about the sum of it, Fred?
Yeah, Fred. To be clear, I don't encourage illegal activity, but we do have rights.
Absolutely.
And we all have rights by being here in America, and it's important that we know what our rights are. I always say no. And if you do consent to a search, and an officer finds something that is believed to be evidence of a crime, well, there's no way to knock it out of court as evidence because you consented to the search.
Yeah, that's good stuff. This is good stuff right here, Fred. This is good stuff. It would seem to be common sense, but a lot of people just simply don't know because they panic, freeze up, and they think that they have to adhere to every request to the officer's request. So if I'm given a ticket, can I refuse to sign the ticket?
This is one of those deals where you think it's a trap, and I did before too. Before I went to law school and kind of practiced law and understood what was going on. At the end of it, let's say you're given a ticket for speeding or running a red light or whatever it might be. Your signature on that ticket is not some admission of guilt. It's just an acknowledgement that you've been served the ticket by the officer, and somewhere on there there's a court date for you to appear in traffic court or whatever the court might be. That's just another situation where you might be creating hostility when there really is no need to. Just sign the ticket. It's okay.
Let me answer this.
If you refuse to sign the ticket, they'll just put some notation that you received it and refused to sign.
Yeah, so it's just an admission that you got the ticket, and is it also admission because of the disclaimer that you're going to appear in court if need be?
Well, yeah, it's just, again, it's just an acknowledgement that you received legal service of the ticket in the court action that follows. So, yeah, it is a signature, in lieu of bond. That's the formal language for it. So you don't have to be arrested in process and all that to appear for a traffic court ticket. You just sign it, and that should be toward the interaction with the police officer.
Absolutely, that's good stuff. How many times have I seen this story? You've seen this story. I'm sure you've defended clients on this. Okay, you're with your brother. Your brother just got out of jail. He's on paper. You got all your paperwork, they pulled you over for some minimized reason. Then they asked the passenger to sign for his ID. He doesn't have an ID. You give him in, you run a check. They find out that, he's an ex-con, he's on paper. And, let's say they find a booby or something in the car. They arrest your brother. And then they demand that you follow them to your house where your brother is staying, and then without a warrant, they go into your house and they find weapons, like we saw what happened a few weeks back in Baton Rouge. And of course, for the record, that case got completely dismissed and thrown into the court, and a shellacking by the judge against the officers who did that. So that would be considered, it happens all the time, more often than not, when people don't know their rights. And cops get away with it a whole lot because people don't know their rights. What happens in that type of situation? How should I handle that?
Well, you should be clear that you're not consenting to the officer entering your home. Now, it puts you in a catch-22. Do you refuse consent to the point where they're manhandling you in front of your home, or do you let them in under the duress that you're placed under? It's a no-win situation. I mean, the law is clear that a search into a person's home is the most protected of searches, which is why the police have to go to a judge to get justification to enter a person's home, and that justification is in the form of a warrant. So, the advice I give is, with you this morning, is legal advice mixed with advice on how to, come out of these interactions unharmed. As long as you are making it clear that you are not consenting to the search inside of your home without justification, which most times requires a warrant, it can be fought on the back end and the evidence can be thrown out.
I tell you what, this excellent topic. You handled it with grace and suave Ebola-like. It's all good.
That's right.
A noob will be a noob. It's all good, baby. You're in the same mode. You're in the same mode. And when I talk to you, especially those with law licenses, they all got their stuff together. And you're no different. Of course, Walter Gabriel, the People's Lawyer, what can they reach you, Frank, if they need your legal counsel?
Hey, if anyone out there needs counsel or just some advice, I like you said, I look expensive, but I'm free. On the consultation, feel free to reach out. My number is 318-445-2121.
There it is, folks, 318-445-2121. Remember that number, to the People's Lawyer, Walter Gabriel, 318-445-2121. Alva Clark, we appreciate you. Stand by for me, okay?
All right.
Again, folks, the People's Lawyer, okay, this guy's top-notch. Like I said, he's absolutely free. He answers his phone calls. He returns them every single day. You can see him almost weekly as the legal analyst on Court TV. What you like Court TV? Y'all see him. He's a personal injury lawyer, wrongful death, civil rights lawyer. He's here to help. In fact, if you're in such a reason from Alexandria, his wife is a Peabody grad. So I'll read that on the back end. More eyes open when we come back. This is FM 107.5, the Vibe, 1110 AM, KTPP. Good day.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hello, Sinlaw. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Eye-catching elegance, compelling styles, luxurious comfort. These are the features you look for in your furniture. At Trotters, it's what we're all about, and choosing your look gets easier with our design consultants Molly Hunt and Rebecca Smith. Trotters has 2 stories and over 20,000 square feet of Central Louisiana's most sought-after furniture, and it's all available with 24 months no-interest financing. Your home is your favorite place. Love it even more with new furniture, because everything's better when you get it from Trotters.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Scentsy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Scentsy consultants. Join Scentsy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Scentsy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world, like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Scentsy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.scentsy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bon Marge in Gaines. And Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez le bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Bill Lancaster. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
All right, we're back right here on your premier morning news magazine. You know, we've interviewed a whole bunch of folk. Certainly, we had Senator Jay Luno, our representative here in the Central Louisiana District, the delegation. We had Senator Jay Luno. We had State Representative for District 26, Ed Lawberdane. We had a distinguished gentleman out of Baton Rouge. Of course, we had Senator Cleo Fields. We had Ted James, the head of the Legislative Black Caucus. I'm gonna get probably next week on my good friend up there from Natchitoches, Lieutenant Colonel, up that way. We're still trying to get Cedric Glover on as well. Of course, he was the one that came up with the legislation on the House side to decriminalize marijuana. On the Senate side, it was our Senator Jay Luno who actually fought that battle, and of course, the governor signed it just this week into law. One of the other significant things as we approach the Juneteenth holiday is that the state of Louisiana made Juneteenth an official holiday. So next year, when it falls on a weekday, or if it falls on a weekday, you guys will be given a day off, whether it falls on a weekend or not. You'll get a day off, and this in the wake of just yesterday or day before yesterday, the Congress of the United States of America has embraced and made Juneteenth a federal holiday. So that's very significant that we recognize this. I didn't even know about Juneteenth until I got to college at the University of Houston in Texas. Of course, you know, the first Juneteenth celebration was in Houston, Texas, in a place called Emancipation Park. And it wasn't about getting handouts from the city to come bring some groups to perform and all that. It wasn't about charging money for tables so you can come and sit and watch some groups. What it was about, absolutely free, is families bringing a covered dish or barbecuing, firing up the barbecue pit, busting open some watermelons, having some sack races, playing some horseshoes and some dominoes, and just it was a big family reunion. It is the Independence Day for Black Americans, and it wasn't about trying to raise money or charge people this. It was absolutely free, and it was about family and freedom. Juneteenth is about family and freedom. It's not about making money and taking government welfare. Let me just say that for
the record. And I don't support those sorts of organizations that do that. So I will support it, and I do want to remind you that Oberlin is having their very first one, so we're proud of them, and they're doing it the old school way. So we'll be down there. Folk down there, and they got a wonderful agenda. It's absolutely free. Y'all can go up to the big Juneteenth celebration that they're supposed to have up there in Shreveport, Louisiana. They're having a big deal. The brothers of Omega Psi Phi doing their thing. They got a plethora of activities and outdoor activities. I don't know how that's going to work with the weather. But I do want to go to Utah. I know he's chilling out in Utah right now, taking a little break after the session, because after the session, you spend them 2.5, 3 months with these folk fighting them. Bottom line is you need a respite. You need a relief. And, of course, I got my man, of course, he's the former chair of the Legislative Black Caucus. He is the head of several committees and one of the most senior members in the Legislative Black Caucus, my good friend, State Representative Randall Gaines, who represents the river parishes. Brother Gaines, always a pleasure, and welcome back to Eyes Open, my friend.
Hey, my pleasure. I certainly enjoyed the last run you did talking about the black culture. Matter of fact, maybe it brought back some memories.
Well, absolutely. You remember back in the day when we had Juneteenth? Because, you know, we didn't find out about Louisiana. It's not taught in the history books. Hopefully that'll change. But you know, remember the old day where we just get together at the park. Everybody bring their meat, their brisket or whatever, their chicken, fire up the pitch. And, you know, you bring a covered dish. You know, it have watermelon, soft drinks, sack races, dominoes. You know, just it was a family reunion. And for many of them that have commercialized it, we really need to get back to what it's all about. It's family and freedom. Am I right about it?
No, absolutely. We have a lot of very interesting, exciting things about our culture. We work hard, we achieve high, but we also know how to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, well, yeah, we know how to pass a good time. That's for sure, Shaq. We do definitely know how to do that. Now you up there in Utah, and I know you got that lovely place. You one of the first. Let me just say it. Let me come clear. You one of the first African Americans that bought a place up there. We talking about 30 years ago when your kids were just barely born. I know about it. You know you're enjoying yourself. Let me first of all ask you. I know it ain't snowing. Y'all got a heat wave up there, man. You got some wildfire problems up there. So what's going on in Utah?
Yeah, so I see you've been keeping track of national trends.
Yes, sir. I do. Yes, sir.
Yes, a little warmer than usual. Usually I've come here as an escape, but usually it's snowing and occasionally in the first week of June, and now it's 90 degrees. So yeah, it's a little warm, but good getaway.
So you can't hit the slopes, but you can hit that pool.
Yeah, the jacuzzi.
And the jacuzzi, there you go, brother. 'Cause like I told you, we were in Breckenridge in November, and we missed the snow too by a week. So you know you got to try to catch it at the right time. But let's get back to Louisiana. I was very impressed, Brother Gaines, that you guys were able to use the black power that we gave y'all when we voted y'all in, to use that as leverage. When y'all got rid of, on the House side, the head of the Education Committee, when he made that snafu talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of slavery. I was very impressed that y'all showed solidarity, y'all came together, and y'all held up that important tax legislation. That's politics, and that's black power. I was impressed with that.
Well, let me tell you something. Ted's done a good job of moving the ball forward as the chair. I brought him on as my vice chair when I was chairman 2 years ago, and I groomed him, of course, to move into the chairmanship. But one of the focuses, I focus on unity. Nobody had their own agenda. The only agenda we had was the agenda of the Black Caucus as a unified agenda, and everybody worked toward moving that unified agenda forward, which in turn moved the individual agendas forward. And I told them we don't put spotlights on ourselves. We put the spotlight on each other. So, matter of fact, Louisiana Politics, 6 months after I took over, said that, the article saying that we were the most unified, effective caucus at the Capitol.
Wow.
And that's because of the unity. We said we won several awards because of unity when I was there, and we're continuing on that. But yeah, when you're in a minority, you have to be unified, and we've been able to use that to advance the initiative that's going to be in the best interest of our constituents and in the best interest of the state of Louisiana. But you're absolutely right. That's why we've been effective, because we're unified.
Absolutely, and I love seeing that, and I love seeing that, y'all got some stuff done, y'all got this guy removed. Otherwise, we've seen it time and time again. again, y'all don't get the respect that y'all do when y'all are fragmented. There's always somebody voting with them, and y'all are able to stick together and hold up that legislation and put, on Paige Cortez and all the other leadership to say, hey, this guy got to go, and we're not compromising on that. He has to go.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Well, because of my experience with my members as one of the leaders, we have many leaders. As one of the leaders, matter of fact, when that occurred, I received the day it occurred. I wasn't in the committee, but I received and when I'm referring to the comment that State Representative Gary Farrell made about the good and bad of slavery. I received a text from someone in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi, saying, "What is going on in the Louisiana legislature?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So they sent me the clip at 5 o'clock that evening, the same day it occurred. I woke up. I couldn't sleep. I woke up 4 or 5 o'clock that morning, and at 7 o'clock I texted the chairman of the Democratic Caucus, Representative Sam Jenkins.
Yeah, we just had him on the other day.
Chairman of the Black Caucus, 7 o'clock that morning. I said, we need to take immediate action. This is going national. We need to call for his resignation. I'll draft a letter for you. And basically, I drafted the letter. And I kind of kicked it off 7 o'clock that morning. They teased me about it. Now I said Randall was calling us 5 o'clock in the morning. No, it was 7. But anyway, and by 12 o'clock, Sam Jenkins and Ted both called for a meeting that day. At 12 o'clock, we met and we demanded that it change.
Absolutely. Yeah, kudos to you for initiating it, because that's embarrassing when your colleagues from across the state got to tell you, man, y'all got some problems. Y'all need to do something about this. And of course, y'all did nip it in the bud. The other thing I was extremely proud about, didn't even know that we didn't have mandatory kindergarten. We had Senator Cleo Fields on just the other day talking about it. So, passing that legislation, that was very important. And as an attorney, Brother Gaines, decriminalizing marijuana, man, you're talking about a big deal.
It was. Yeah, Senator Fields did a great job. He was very proactive and had a lot of foresight by initiating that proposing that legislation. We were able to pass that. So, kudos to him. I commend him for his vision and foresight on that, because our kids are the ones who are going to suffer the most because of inadequate education.
Absolutely.
And Mayor Glover, Representative Glover now, did propose the bill to decriminalize marijuana. Now, it doesn't totally it doesn't legalize marijuana in Louisiana as it has been done in some states, Colorado and some other states. But it reduces the penalties, the charge that you can that can be initiated by the district attorney's office for possession of marijuana. It reduces it substantially. Where if you have a small amount, you won't go to jail. So that helps. That helps to any justice reform that's done by the state of Louisiana helps our community, and certainly works to make sure that blacks don't dominate the prison population of Louisiana.
As we have always done since the inception of the institution we know as the prison system. So we've been dominating that because it was actually created for us, not by us, and to release ourselves from the shackles of mass incarceration. I think this is a step in the right direction. When we get to the point, and it may be next year, but it's definitely going to be on the way, you have to admit, to actually legalize recreational marijuana. I know we've just done the medicinal flower, which is going to be very important, because you had a lot of seniors that wanted to participate in the program, but because of the processing involved in the tinctures and getting the vape pens and the edibles, and it's not covered by insurance, it's basically these pharmacists have priced themselves out of the market. So you still have people who want to get it, glaucoma, epileptics, people with Crohn's disease, post-traumatic stress disorder, but couldn't afford to get it. Now with passing that legislation to get it in a smokable form, hopefully it'll bring the price down, and it could be more accessible, not only for African Americans, but seniors. seniors who just are on a fixed income, who needed the medicine for glaucoma but couldn't afford it. When you talk about $190 or $125 for a tincture, and because I did the research on it. In fact, I have Crohn's disease, and I do have my prescription legally, so that's refreshing for me to be able not to look over my shoulder and try to self-medicate from the corner pharmacist, as opposed to walking into a legitimate pharmacy and getting the medicine, because that's what it is that I needed to help me with my pain management and to help mitigate this Crohn's disease. So you're not only talking about someone who is a victim of what has been happening in the state of Louisiana, but also a proponent, and I've been a proponent of it for a long time, and I'm glad to see that it's coming. So what's the other thing that you guys, before I let you go, because I want you to be able to get up and go get your little breakfast and go sit early in the morning in that jacuzzi. so what's the other thing that you're proud of that happened? Because I was seeing you quoted in this article that Mark Ballard wrote, and it says money is the reason for Louisiana legislature's successful session, and you broke it down. To quote you here, you said the budgetary discipline imposed by Edwards produced more than enough revenue to pay for the bills and a spending spree as COVID-19 restrictions eased boosted sales tax revenues, creating a surplus. Then billions of pandemic relief came in the federal government to help refill a lot of empty pots. And your quote here, Brother Gaines, is, it's just like in your family. When you have enough money, there's a relief, and you can focus on the stuff you've been putting off.
Yeah, and I don't remember that. I don't remember that specific interview. But look, you always say it so eloquently.
Thank you, brother.
more than I have. But yeah, absolutely. As you know, we were facing a fiscal cliff in 2018. We were able to pull that ball across the line and pass revenue-raising measures that would enable Louisiana to overcome a $2 billion fiscal deficit. We did that in 2018 under the leadership of Governor John Bel. And really, when the governor announced that big breakthrough, that fiscal revolution that we came through, he complimented the Black Caucus for the unity in terms of standing with him to help pass that legislation. We were pivotal in getting it passed, and really, it was the most important legislation passed, in my opinion, in the last 50 years, because Louisiana was facing closing our universities, and you know which ones were going to be closed first.
Absolutely.
Which are our HBCUs, because they're always close to the edge of the cliff. They do the most good, but they get the less revenues, the least amount of revenue. So hospitals, social programs, that's going to help those individuals that need it the most. So we were able to overcome that and to pass legislation to enable Louisiana to have a fiscal breakthrough and be able to fund the things that were most critical to our citizens. And the things that are usually most critical to our citizens are the things that benefit our minority citizens the most. So and that really took a lot of pressure off of us, that we could not just do things that are going to sustain us, but we can do things that's going to advance us, and that was the objective, and that's what we have been able to do. Concentrate on the things that's going to now be the most productive and be the most beneficial to us and our citizens. You can do that when you have money.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, let me quote some scripture for you this morning before I let you go, brother. Ecclesiastes 10:19, it says, "A feast is made for laughter, wine makes merry, but money answers all things." Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Take care, God bless you. Traveling grace for y'all to make it back home, and enjoy your vacation, my friend.
I always enjoy you, and keep up the great work you do.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're going to have more eyes open when we come back, folks. Don't go away.
This is Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5 The Vibe and 1110 AM KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this. Thank God it is Friday. Happy Juneteenth and Father's Day weekend. We're going to start down in Baton Rouge. It is the 18th day of the month of June. Of course, tomorrow being Juneteenth, it is now a federal and a state holiday. Down in Baton Rouge, one person is dead this morning in a shooting that took place on Perkins Road near the campus of LSU. The shooting took place Thursday around 8:15 p.m. in the 2100 block of Cedardale Avenue. The person's injuries were fatal. So far, no more details on the latest murder in Baton Rouge. A Baton Rouge man accused in a 2017 robbery-related slaying of an Allstate employee implicated himself in the homicide and then told a female friend she would regret it if she didn't keep silent, the woman told a jury Thursday. 38-year-old Darrell Johnson is standing trial on counts of second-degree murder and witness intimidation in the killing of 53-year-old Central resident Dale Sands. Crystal Williams, whose 9-year-old son found Sands' body in the backyard of their Great Smoky Avenue home the afternoon of August the 23rd of 2017, described Johnson as a, quote, friend with benefits, and said he lived with her at the time. Williams, who recalled hearing a gunshot the afternoon of August 22nd, 2017, said Johnson came home that night in a green F-150 double cab, the same type of truck that Sands drove. She said Johnson, who did not own a vehicle, told her the truck belonged to his boss. The woman she said she overheard Johnson saying in an August 24, 2017 phone call that I didn't have a chance to move the body. Williams said she later asked about the statement. He told me, don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to, she testified while being questioned by prosecutor April Leon. Later that day, Williams said Johnson had her drive him west of Baton Rouge, where he ultimately was picked up by another woman at a truck stop. He told me to keep my mouth shut, Williams testified. Williams said she then drove back to Baton Rouge without Johnson, who was arrested August the 30th, 2017 in Eunice, Louisiana. And a local attorney sued the Baton Rouge Police Department earlier this week, claiming officers used excessive force during a welfare check, which escalated after a profane outburst from the lawyer and ended up with him handcuffed to a hospital bed receiving treatment for broken ribs and a punctured lung. Baton Rouge attorney Jeffrey Sanford was booked into jail last August after his release from the hospital. He was later charged with felony resisting a police officer with force of violence. The criminal case is ongoing. Sanford filed his lawsuit Wednesday in Baton Rouge federal court seeking damages from the city. He claims Corporal Joshua Kirst and Officer Aber Allen violated his constitutional rights. A BRPD spokesperson said the department conducted an internal investigation soon after the incident and cleared both officers of wrongdoing. Officials declined to comment on the specific allegations from Sanford, whose complaint presents his perspective of what happened the night of August 23rd. His ex-wife asked police to check on their son, who was 12 at the time and staying with his dad, because she was unable to reach them by phone. According to the lawsuit, the officers knocked on the door and told Sanford why they were there. Quote, upon hearing that his ex-wife called the police, Mr. Sanford did the sign of the cross, the complaint reads. He said her concern was wholly unfounded and without factual basis, and he became upset that the police, unannounced, had interrupted his evening with a non-criminal matter without either prior notice or a warrant. So according to the lawsuit, he calmly gave the officers a message for his ex-wife. Tell her to suck 10 million, well, use your imagination. Kurtz responded by saying he understood the sentiment according to the complaint, but then the officer tried to keep asking questions. Sanford said, F you, and started to close the door. His profane speech was protected under the First Amendment right of freedom of speech, his attorney argued in the complaint. Kurtz then visibly angry and told Sanford not to talk to him like that. The complaint says the officers barged into the house without permission, a warrant, or probable cause of a crime being committed, according to Sanford. Once inside, a physical confrontation ensued. The lawsuit accuses Kurtz of violently striking Mr. Sanford while Allen used a stun gun on him to subdue him. LSU Health Shreveport Chancellor Dr. Gally E. Gally announced Thursday afternoon that he would resign effective immediately as head of the medical school in Shreveport just a day after he was reinstated to the post. Yeah, we reported this story Wednesday, said he was back on the job. Gally, who became chancellor in February 2016, wrote that he would return to work as a faculty member. Quote, according to LSU President Tom Galligan, and in an email to LSU Health Shreveport employees, we have accepted Dr. Gally's request, and Dr. David Lewis, who has been serving as acting chancellor, will be interim chancellor while we conduct a search for the next chancellor. I guess the brother had to step in. Gally was put on administrative leave for about 2 months following claims from physicians and staffers at LSU Health Shreveport that he had retaliated against them for raising sexual misconduct allegations against top administrators at the medical school. An investigation into the claims, which has not been released publicly, cleared Galley of improper conduct. Galley said in a statement Wednesday night, LSU confirmed his statement and reinstated Galley as a chancellor on Wednesday. One day later, he's resigning. Read in between the lines, folks. Louisiana the good old boy network has been fractured. Louisiana residents who get a COVID-19 vaccine by the end of July will be eligible to enter to win $1 million jackpot, Governor John Bel Edwards announced on Thursday. It's one of 14 cash prizes and scholarship awards totaling $2.3 million that Louisiana will dole out in weekly drawings beginning next month as part of a campaign to juice the state's dismal vaccination rate. But any Louisiana resident who has received at least one dose of the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine or the single-dose Johnson & Johnson shot is eligible for the lottery. Louisiana will award 9 $100,000 scholarships to winners ages 12 to 17, along with 4 $100,000 cash prizes and a $1 million award for those 18 and older. The first of 5 weekly drawings will begin on July the 14th. Registration for the drawing begins Monday at noon and is limited to Louisiana residents who have received at least one shot. The sign-up is available through the state's ShotAmillion.com. That's ShotAmillion.com website, or by calling 1-877-356-1511 once registration begins. No word on people who've actually gotten the shot if both doses can enter that, or at least one dose of Pfizer. The details on that are unclear. Ochsner Health, Louisiana's largest healthcare provider, will take over the 7-hospital Rush Health System in Mississippi and Alabama, expanding Ochsner's reach across the Gulf Coast. Rush and Ochsner announced Thursday that the two nonprofits had signed a shared mission agreement that builds up on existing partnership started in 2019. Under the new pact, Ochsner will add 2,800 Rush employees, bringing its total to 35,000 doctors, nurses, and other workers. The deal represents a major geographic expansion for Ochsner and will turn the dominant healthcare provider in Louisiana into a regional player with a significantly larger footprint in Mississippi and access to the Alabama health market for the first time. A Louisiana woman who went viral after she used Gorilla Glue spray in her hair to make it hold is launching her own hair care line after surgery and a months-long recovery process to regrow her hair. Tessica Brown, a St. Bernard Parish native, became known as the Gorilla Glue Girl after going viral on TikTok in February for mistakenly spraying the super strong glue in her hair when she ran out of hairspray. After a weeks-long battle to remove the glue in a sedated 4-hour procedure in California, in addition to 4 months of regrowing her hair, Brown has launched a hairline called Forever Hair that she said has helped her grow back the locks she lost. She told the Times-Picayune on Thursday. Louisiana Southwestern parishes were awarded the bulk of a $136 million in funding from FEMA on Thursday for long-term recovery projects aimed at reducing the risk of future flooding, including buyouts, elevations, and drainage improvements. Governor John Bel Edwards announced the relief Thursday, flanked by FEMA's newly installed administrator, Deanne Criswell, as a nearby weather map flashed images of tropical disturbance that drop up to 8 inches of rain on South Louisiana through the weekend. With that said, the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood watch for much of southeast Louisiana from Friday afternoon through Sunday morning as tropical system approaches the Gulf Coast. 6 to 10 inches of rain could fall in the area with locally high amounts. The rain could overwhelm drainage systems, with some of the heaviest hit areas experiencing flash flood. The warning stretches from just east of Morgan City all the way past Biloxi and from the coast up to Macomb. And finally, the New Orleans area, the river parishes, and 3 central Louisiana coastal parishes are under a tropical storm warning for a weak but moisture-intense low-pressure system that is likely to strengthen before making landfall near Morgan City early Saturday, according to the National Hurricane Center. In southeast Louisiana, the warning covers Ascension, Livingston, Jefferson, Orleans, Lafourche, Plaquemine, St. Bernard, St. Charles, St. James, St. John the Baptist, St. Tammany, Tangible, Hoare, and Terrebonne parishes. Along the central coast, it covers Iberia, St. Mary, Vermilion, but not Lafayette. While included in the heavy rainfall advisories, Baton Rouge and adjacent parishes are in the warning area. The storm could deliver wind gusts of greater than 45 miles per hour, and a possible tornado or two in southeast Louisiana from Friday evening through Saturday. I'm Tony Brown. Want you to have a marvelous Juneteenth holiday and have an awesome Father's Day weekend. I'm Tony Brown. That's your Eyes Open news you can use. Be blessed. All right, we're back right here in your Premier Morning News Magazine. Y'all know the first and the third Thursday of every month. Right about this time, we have the pleasure of having Mr. Bubba McCall with your Rapides Parish School Board update. I hear a commercial in the back of my ear there, Miss Q. And today is no different. We're talking about some very important matters. I tell you what, somewhere down the line, maybe within a year, we could have Peabody Magnet High School back in full effect. Hasn't been a magnet school since 2001. And I tell you what, prior to that, you know, Peabody had the opportunity, or were afforded the opportunity, to get students from all over the parish because they had selected programs. I mean, they had automotive, things of that nature. They had some nursing classes. So it actually was a draw for both, not only African-American students to come from other areas that maybe outside of the Peabody so-called district, but also outside of the city of Alexandria. So, you know, with that said, I don't know why they cut it in the first place, but it's always about money. So let's talk to Mr. Bubba McCall. Mr. Bubba McCall, I know y'all working. Good morning. Welcome to you back to the studio, big brother.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Can you hear yourself?
No.
Okay, let me
look at. They took the program.
Can you hear yourself now?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right.
They took the program out in 2001 when the federal grant money ran out. But you see, you don't have to have all federal grant money because we got a reserve fund.
I sure do.
We got the parish-wide maintenance. Because we got so much different funds up there. I got it in my car. Every district got all that money. District 62 got millions and millions and millions of dollars in it, okay? Then we just got all this CARE Act money, told them about $54 million. Okay, so here they can't, me and my vice president, we've been talking, can't tell me that. Now, the magnet program that they've taken out, I found a book on the magnet program. I've been going through it before Mrs. Hennigan left. We had started on the magnet program, okay? I got to give her props, okay?
Trying to give it back.
She was working on it before the news got she was going to be moving. So I gave it to Mr. Stewart. I said, now I want you to go through this book, sir. Take a look at it. And then we're going to go up and put back on. Now, auto mechanics was at Peabody High.
Sure.
They moved it to Tioga. That was on purpose, okay?
No, yeah.
Now, we got welding over at Peabody. We also got some LPN classes. We had the beautician and barber class. I got to check on that today. Why? We have to staff that. Okay, we also got, you know...
I had the broadcasting program.
That's coming back to the broadcasting program. We want to put that back.
They have never asked me to come in for free. I volunteered to come for free. They got a teacher who'd never been in the business to do it, and of course, within 3 years, nobody was in the program.
Well, here's what we got the banking in that too. You know, the credit union like banking. That's got to come back too.
Somebody like Martin Johnson, the former bank president. I mean, you know, you actually have to get some mentors, some black men into these programs. We're not asking for money. We're just asking to help. And when we have gone repeatedly to the school district, you know, they don't come to us. It is important that we don't have black men in the classrooms anyway. We don't have them in a lot of administrative positions. So when black people who are in business in Alexandria can help and be mentors and come and in their level of expertise, I don't see what the problem is, Mr.
Well, we're working on. We're going to have a mentoring program. Okay, I'm working with Reverend Raymond Franklin, who had one of the best mentoring programs for our students in our neighborhood. It's just like the superintendent want to start a mentoring program himself. But I don't need nobody who don't know these kids that don't live in the neighborhood. They don't know what our babies go through at night. So we want men that come out of these neighborhoods who've been through some of this when they were younger, that have pulled themselves up by these bootstraps, and they're doing great.
I saw the paperwork from Raymond's program. Okay. It looks like it's a good deal. I'm going to call him up and get him on the show.
You get him on the show because I'm 100% with him, okay? I mentored him when he was a child. He and all his brothers, and I got to look at
all of them ministers.
Wait, and I looked at that whole group that we had, 12 men from Lower Third, Soundtown, Woodside. We gathered up and put together a league. The only way you could play in our league is you had to bring us your report card. And when you didn't, and if you was a good player and you had to do something in school, Heck, I paid for one child summer school. You going to summer school? And he told me he gonna do what he want to do. I took him home to his mother. She said, I got this case, the next one on you. I said, what do you mean? She said, don't bring him back no more, handle your business in the park.
Okay.
Hey, right
she
now,
gave you permission to
thank
say,
you. And
handle it up.
right now, he's a great young man, okay? Dr. Lawson, he was a dentist around here. I had his son. I had to take him home. Doc said, don't bring him no more. And I felt sorry for the boy. I shouldn't have never taken him home because his daddy beat the heck out of him.
Oh, no.
He told me, you ain't going to go out there embarrassing me. Now, here's the big thing we're trying to work on for Rapides Parish.
Okay.
Mentoring for our kids, that's going to be a priority. But another
important.
priority we have is getting some pay for low-paid people, okay? The lowest-paid people in our system are...
Custodial workers?
Bus drivers? No. It's our
Oh.
cafeteria workers. Okay?
Man, you know why? That should be really near and dear to my heart because my grandmother was retired from the school system in Calcasieu Parish as a supervisor.
Okay, here's what we got. Food service people, we're looking at a longevity salary.
How much they make, first of all?
You're talking about $1,200, $1,400 a month.
Oh, no. Is that after taxes?
They might take home $900, $1,000, $1,100. Okay.
So when you're telling me that, Mr. Bubba, you're telling me these
That's why
cafeteria
most
workers
of
are
them
making
got two
between
jobs, okay?
$13,000 and $15,000 a year?
16, if you look at the pay scale,
Lord,
let me
have
tell
mercy.
you can look at a pay scale on one, I had it in my package, I just probably left it in it.
That's okay, you can talk about it,
You
though.
start at $24,000, you work 25 years, guess what? You ain't at $30,000 yet.
And you done worked 25 years. You know, that's the same way with the state. I was
I
shocked
know,
when my
but-
mom retired from the state. I was
Well,
like,
here's what
Mama,
you gotta do, you know
how'd
that-
you raise 4 kids on this, Mama?
Oh, what, my father raised 9 kids painting houses, okay?
My mama worked for 25 to 30 years for the state. Started answering the phones when they had switchboards, Mr. Bubba. Worked her way up, became a caseworker, which you have to have a 4-year degree when she retired in 2000. And when I looked at her pay, I was like, Mama made, let me just come clean. Mama made $21,000 a year, raising 4 kids, and that's what she had I say, Mama, how did you do it? She, miracle. Miracle, Miss Seeley,
See,
a
those
miracle.
Those folks back in the day could do things. These youngsters can't have
You
it.
know, they know how to stretch it. They know how to take a dollar and stretch it, didn't they?
This longevity program Miss Davis has, and she has a good one. It's based on salary, okay?
Now, who's Miss Davis?
She's over food service. She's been there
Okay.
a while. She's beautiful, take care of her people, okay?
Okay.
Okay, this is going to be things that people with 2 to 4 years will get a supplement of $200. The longer you stay, the more you get. See?
It should be. That's an incentive to stay.
And if you got, you got to be incentive to come to work. Okay? The incentive to come to work. If
Is
you
that a
make-
problem sometimes? With
Oh, Lord,
workers
it's a
not showing
problem
up?
right now.
Oh,
okay?
really?
Well, you know, people walking away from the school system right now because they
Getting
got
that
all these
unemployment.
jobs.
And they got that unemployment, too.
That unemployment is killing everybody.
Yeah.
So she using an absentee incentive program, okay?
Okay.
And that's that way you can't keep it. I need it back.
Okay,
See,
no
that-
worries.
If you then that's a good one. Now here's the next part of this thing. Let me get this second sheet right
Go
here.
ahead, Mr. Bubba.
Mr. Powell and I want to talk about this before I leave about Peabody High.
Okay, we'll talk about that next.
Okay,
No worries.
Now we're talking about pay raises for our other employees, okay?
Longevity salary supplement.
And that's the way you
So,
do business.
so now you have to submit this to the board.
Yes, sir.
You
So
think
we already talked
get up to the mic, Mr. Butler? You
We've
think
already talked
y'all
about it.
have? So
We talked about it Tuesday night.
What
okay?
was your feeling that you can get it passed?
Yeah, it's gonna go.
Okay. Okay. You got so many papers you bring up in
I
here.
got a paper.
You like the
Hey.
kid. You like the kid without a book sack. Kid, we got to get him a book sack.
You know, what happens is this, man. A long time ago, when I was a union rep, you don't never go to a meeting without talking to your folks.
Come on
You
now.
better have your votes ready, okay?
Have it ready.
If you ain't ready, you don't need to go up there and be embarrassed yourself.
Yeah.
Now, we got also a proposal for all the other staff and
He just gave y'all some advice out there, folks.
Okay.
Y'all need to be listening to what he's
Right.
saying.
It was another staffing program for all the other people. We have a potential saving about $2 million, okay? So what we're going to do with that is this.
You need to pass that information on to Reddix Washington.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Give him a call and tell him just what you said. Don't quit embarrassing yourself. Make sure you got the votes before you bring something to the table.
Right. Here's
Can't
what
even
you-
get a second. Have you ever put something and never got a second on the vote on something? Yeah, you don't do that. That's not
Okay.
the way. That ain't the way you
Okay,
you make
no.
yourself look good.
So here's what we're looking at.
Crazy.
You know, the governor, the state legislature passed a pay raise for the employees.
Well, it's like a supplement, right?
Right, that's what it is.
What,
1,000?
1,000?
Yeah. Okay.
It's
we got-
always 1,000.
Right. No,
How much?
800 and 400.
Oh God.
Now here's
They
one
didn't
we,
get it to
yeah,
1,000.
we're looking at adding to that supplement, okay?
Jeez.
Degrees gonna get $1,025 and non-degreed $500.
So y'all add to what they give.
What the state puts to the store, okay? But you gotta keep doing it. And those food service workers that we talking about,
Mm-hmm.
they'll get some of this too. See, they're mostly 90% of them non-degreed. Okay?
So that means this is for people with degrees.
No, non-degree people get $500.
non-degree.
Both of them gonna get it.
Yeah, okay.
So you got to give them something. We're working off of that 1980-something tax.
But they
plan.
feel they should get as much as the people with degrees.
Well, a lot of them do, but
that's not the way it works.
That's not the way it works.
It
Now, the
doesn't.
tax thing, we just gave them that bonus money, that tax rebate money. That's what the law says. You got to give unused taxes
Wasn't it
back.
about 2,500 or something?
6,000 and 3,000.
Yeah, it was some real money.
Okay?
So they just got that.
Right. Well, we had a big dispute up there. If, they've taken out money for people who missed days, like on the longevity thing.
Oh, really?
And if they had
So, they was punishing people who didn't have a stellar showing up record.
Right. Well, some of them were out with COVID, okay? And you COVID protocol said you can't come to work. So we had a battle over the COVID. I put on the agenda, all people who had COVID, prove you had the COVID, was out, whether you was out 1 or 2 times, okay?
Uh-huh.
You get your money. So we had payroll arguing with me. I told them, I ain't got time to argue, let's just vote. The vote was 7 members there that night. The vote was 7-0.
Thank you very much.
So you got to have your ducks crossed. Let me tell you what, you don't matter what COVID, okay?
And then why would you try to do something that you hadn't even run through the board? That stuff got to go through the board.
Thank you, sir.
You can't make no decision at payroll that, well, we're going to take who made that decision? They had to be
payroll.
They had to come higher than payroll.
Well, they got it straight down.
They had to come from the top.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Well,
payroll ain't gonna do nothing that hadn't been approved by Jeff
Powell.
Powell. You doggone right. So they were trying to penalize people for being out for whatever reason.
We took care of that.
Y'all handled it.
So let me tell you what. See, let me tell you.
Mr. Bubba, you gotta watch Ride, huh?
You better have one, because if you don't do it, you see.
Put your foot in the
see
mic
these
there.
papers here?
Yes, sir.
If you do what I do, you see all them marks and checks and my name on all this? That's because before the board meeting,
You read it.
I'll go up there and get this. Go through all of this and all my backup on everything I need to know is there.
The support
See,
material,
Yeah,
everything.
let me tell you something. I'm not going to go up there and they put a laptop in front of me right before the meeting.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to vote on something that I ain't read about. I ain't researched, okay? Give you an example of something. Look at here. Now, that's the salary schedule right there for a food service manager, okay? See, first year you start. Now, that's the manager of food service of cafeteria, okay?
Oh my God!
Wait,
And after 25 years, you only got a $3,000 difference.
That's got to change.
Oh my
okay?
gosh,
Let
man!
me tell you,
That should be a minimum of 10. If you started at 24, you give them 25,000. You give them 25 years, a quarter of a century of your life,
and then you ain't made.
And you've only got a $3,000 pay increase.
Well, see.
What the hell? That's look. Let me go ahead and come.
Let me
That's
finish.
slave wages,
Wait,
Mr.
hold on.
Bubba. That's slave wages.
Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir.
I come out of the paper industry union. Okay?
That's
And when I
crazy.
look at stuff like this, my blood boils.
I know
okay?
it. I know you get hit.
It bothers me. And those people up there making that $100 and some thousand, they don't care. To my opinion, they don't care. Now, let me tell you what, this board that we have now has getting a little more, I call it employee friendly, because let me tell you, we lose
Progressive
people.
is what we call it.
You ought to go out there in my car. You ought to see the resignations and retirement. We got more resignations this month than we got retirements.
Why should I work here when I can go and work for a private school in Marksville and make a lot more money? Matter of fact, let me just pack up and go to Houston. I go to A-Leaf Elsick School District, and I can start off with my degree and make $50,000 a year.
Okay.
You know, a $15,000 to $20,000 pay raise over what y'all paying me to stay in the number 8 most violent city in the country. Yeah, so they better step up their game.
Well, we got a board, I think.
Let me ask you, why they don't want to pay black people, Mr. Bubba?
Who?
The school district.
What's up?
I mean, when you paying them, but you paying them change. When you
You
look
talking
at
about the cafeteria?
I'm talking about the cafeteria workers, the custodial workers. I'm talking about the people who do a lot of the work of supporting these kids and making sure they get the meals, get to school. Why? I mean,
Well, you know, those are, you saw the pay scale. Now, here's what I asked. I got a copy of it.
I tell my mama, don't even apply, Mama.
Wait.
Don't even apply
Thank you.
as a service worker in Alexandria, because you can get them 25 years for a $3,000 pay raise over when you start.
Okay, here's what we...
Best thing to do is you get your entry-level job, you stay there for 2 years, and move to another district.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're working on this schedule. These salary schedules, I want a copy of all the salary schedules. Custodians, cafeteria workers, and I've got one more quick thing. Now, we're talking about summer school.
How's the summer program going?
It's going pretty good. We got 2,500 total students in the summer program, okay?
Feeding program going well
It's
at the
going
school?
great, too. We got total 2,500. Say Peabody, on the summer school program this year, they're averaging 137 kids a day.
Okay.
All right, 600 of them virtual over there, okay? That's at Peabody.
Okay.
So that's 700 some kids. Total all over the parish, 2,500 students, okay? And that's only Monday through Thursday.
Are they showing up and they logging in?
Well, they have to.
Or it's mandatory?
I went over to Peabody the other week. I said, doggone, I didn't think school was out.
Because there's that many kids
I was
in there?
watching them. They come in and going, and I said to myself, oh, this summer school. Now, we're working on, like we said, 3 things we're doing. I'm working on pay scales for these people. We are working on pay scales for these people. We're working on putting Peabody back to the full magnet program, okay?
Praise the Lord.
Okay, and then I'm also looking at a couple of other things what we're going to be doing. I'll be getting back to you. The biggest thing coming up in the next 2 weeks is going to be this evaluation of the superintendent, okay?
Okay. That's
so
next.
everybody,
Is this contract
I
coming up
told
next?
everybody to keep their mouth shut. That's your evaluation. Don't compare yours and mine together. Let's get them together, and we're going to put them in the hands of the committee. I'm going to appoint a committee. Okay? Y'all tally all the scores, and then we call them in and tell them what it is. And so, now, my opinion is you're supposed to keep your stuff secret, because the way you evaluate them, you don't need to influence nobody.
Absolutely.
So you need to be honest, fair, and honorable with it, okay?
That's right.
Now, if you don't think he's doing his job, give him the scores for not doing it. If you think he's doing good in one area, but then when you tally it all up, that could tell the tale, okay?
Absolutely. So be honest, be real, come
Okay.
come clean, and
Oh,
stay
one more
romantic.
thing.
Yes, sir.
Peabody in these dual enrollment classes.
You saw the numbers.
Okay, I saw the numbers.
With the
I
state.
saw them the other day. I've been looking at that. See, I ain't got number of time on my hands.
There you go. And
so-
plant your garden.
Playing in my garden.
Uh-huh.
So what we got to do with this dual enrollments, we got to get some people that Southern Grambling, Xavier, okay, Northwestern.
Hello.
Louisiana, get you come down and talk to these kids about dual enrollment. So, because a lot of them are getting into dual enrollment, okay? We got to have a staff there to make sure that they inform the kids on dual enrollment. So I'm going to talk with Coach Hall and Principal Stewart, Ms. Cooper, and tell them we're going to have to push more kids to go dual enrollment so we can keep up. But the biggest thing I'm pushing is getting some of our, I call it, industrial arts back into school. Because right now, you can't hardly hire a plumber. You can't hardly find a
Carpenter.
mechanic, carpenter. We had a carpenter class over there.
Drywall finisher,
Well,
painter,
See,
concrete layer, brick layer.
You can't find it. But
None
you
of
know, the state of Louisiana just passed the, what you call it, the Mike Foster thing for the trade schools. I'm going to go up and see Mr. Sartell and see about that so we can have dual enrollment with the trade school, too.
Absolutely. I tell you what, if you put something together for somebody to come and present something to Peabody to encourage these kids about dual enrollment, because they can actually do it online, whether it's Grambling or Southern University. So when you do that, what I'll do is if you get a date and a time, I'll get the presidents of both Southern and Grambling to come up here and to talk
To those two.
to that auditorium. Absolutely, I can help in that regard. So you get it together, talk to Mr. Stewart, talk to the Jeff Powell, the superintendent, and we'll pick a day, and I'll make a phone call, and I think they would gladly come down here, both of them, because they are looking for students.
I know.
They're looking for talent. Well, you saw, what we did with the Peabody kid. He was listening to the show, and now the kid's not going to Xavier. He's going for that cybersecurity, which is, man, he's going to be able to paint his driveway in gold.
Well, that's the young
Because
kid,
you're
that's the
talking
young Miles
about,
boy.
they start not at $200,000+ a year.
Well, it's like my
Easy.
grandson. He wasn't going to college, but, he had to have that little talk with him. And when he
he'd
came
man
to
up
visit,
on 'em.
and I'd get him in the backyard. Son, you got an opportunity to go to Southeastern. You take that, okay?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know you want to go to trade school, but that's a good thing. But then we talked, and he called me and he said, I'm going to Southeastern. I said, you told your father? He said, no. So he told his father, he said, son, he asked, what made you change your mind, TJ? He said, Papa, take you under that tree back there.
Did you have to jerk him? Did you have to grab him by the shirt?
I had to talk to him a little bit about the collar.
There you go. You're the
But
pop.
you don't waste talent, okay?
You don't waste
now,
talent.
our parents need to step up their game to encourage your children to do better.
That's right.
Okay, because I was encouraged mine to do better. I told them you're going to get the opportunity to go to college. As long as them grades up there, me and you going to be fine. Now, if your second year, if you're doing good, I'll take them, put you off from walking around campus, okay?
Come on.
But if
Help
you
them get a little vehicle.
Thank you. But if your grades go down, you're going to be the old Pat and Turner. You're going to be patting your feet,
Turn
turning
the
them
corner.
corners again. And not one of my kids, they did great. And the one that I thought I was going to have the most trouble with, my son, he graduated with honors. And I was
Pat
real
and
proud.
turn. I ain't heard that in a long time. Pat your feet and turn the corner.
Well, I had
sipping wine, in a road trip. I look too good to be alone. House clean, my pool warm, just shake smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing. This mansion is happening. I am playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. Let you feel the way I feel when you want me like I want you tonight, baby. Tell me that you're coming through. So sweet, so tight, I won't bite, unless you like, if you smoke, I got the haze, and if you're hungry, girl, I got the lace. Ooh, baby, don't keep me waiting. There's so much love we could be making. I'm talking kissing, cuddling, rose petals in the bathtub, girl, it's jumping, it's bubbling. I am playing no games, every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lace I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open, girl. Let you feel the way I feel and you want me like I want you tonight. Tell me that you're coming through. Tell me that you're coming
Thanks for tuning in to Eyes Open with Tony Brown. The show airs daily, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. Right here on the new KTTP 1110 a.m. Alexandria, Pineville. You can also listen live on our website at www.thenewkttp.com to contact Mr. Brown or to report a concern in your community. Or maybe you would like to advertise on the Eyes Open Radio Network. Please do so via email at eyesopentbrown@yahoo.com or by mail at Eyes Open Productions LLC, P.O. Box 13667, Alexandria, Louisiana 71315. The views expressed on this program are not those of this station or its affiliates and are the opinions of the people who choose to participate in this forum. FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KTTP, Alexandria, Pineville.
Hallelujah. It is well with soul. It is well. It is well with my soul. Somebody may be going through a rough time right now, but let me encourage you that it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Yes, it will. I know life has brought you many ups and downs, but God promised you that He'd never leave you. He'd never forsake you. No, 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 no. Storms may rise and the billows may roll, but God is in control. So stop worrying about it. Go on to bed. Go on to sleep tonight. It is well. Yes, it is. It is well. It is. It is well. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. Just know that it's well. It is well. Yes, it is. Yes, I'll trust in you. Come one my faith in you, it will remain. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Melody, she's the one to give you what you need. It's Tracy Morgan. Got a song just for you and a word to help pull you through. It's Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan, yeah. Turn my radio on and I'm tuned to my favorite station. Tracy Morgan is on the air. Moments of inspiration. Backstage pass, just celebrity guests and interviews. Tracy is the one to give you what you need. Worship song never play, just to start you on your way. Nobody does it better than Tracy. Yeah, bounce around the years, never award, broadcast all the way in the key. Yes, Tracy Morgan Show. Tracy Morgan. Got a song just for you. Got a song for you. It's Tracy Morgan. Tracy Morgan Show.
And welcome to the Tracy Morgan Show this Friday. It's the weekend, and I am so happy to be with you. I've got a great show for you. DJ Mac Cummings, the turntable minister, will be with us, so make sure to keep it locked for that. It's a New Music Friday, so I'll be dropping new music. Let's get right to it, family, with music from Patti LaBelle and Pastor Shirley Caesar. Y'all know this is going to be good. Inside the Tracy Morgan Show.
I'm so glad I know it was the blood. I'm so glad that I know it was the blood. I know, I know, I know, I know. It was the blood for me. Oh,
Save me too. Oh yeah. Oh, I know it was a blood. Yes, it was. I know it was a blood. I know it was a blood that saved me. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Anybody saved out here tonight? And yes, it is. One day when I was lost, he hung and bled. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. On the cross. And I know it was the blood. Yeah. Save me. All right. Oh, said the blood was streaming down. Oh, the blood was streaming down. Yeah. Hallelujah. Oh, the blood was streaming down for me. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes. One day. Oh, one day. One day. When I was lost. Come on, he died. He laid down. He died. He died upon the cross. I know. it was the blood. That saved me. Oh, yes, it was. It was the blood. Oh, I know it was the blood. I know it was the blood.
I'm Dr. Tim Tootin, and I'm planting seeds of encouragement. To be continued. It's a familiar line you'll recognize at the end of a television episode, perhaps from one of your favorite programs. You see, most often, to be continued indicates that the story will pick up with the next episode at a later date. This may sound a lot like the life you're living. Let's consider this scripture passage in the book of Philippians, the first chapter, and verse number 6. Here's how it reads. And I am certain that God, who began the good work within you, will continue his work until it is finally finished on the day when Christ Jesus returns. Today, don't count yourself out or dismiss the plan that God has for your life. Let's pray. Dear Lord, it's comforting to know that your plan for each of us has not expired. You're the only one standing at life's eternal finish line to welcome us home. I'm Dr. Tim Tootin, the pastor and founder of Harvest Christian Ministries, and I'm planting seeds of encouragement.
His love lasts forever, even when you feel like giving up. Joy comes in the morning. His love is everlasting, surpass all understanding. Just know his love is all you need. Sometimes we cry and we don't know why. And we fail, but we never try. surpass all understanding. Just know His love is all you need. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy. It don't boast, it's not proud, it is not self-seeking. Although things may not always look so great, just put a smile on your face and expect a better day. Even when you feel like giving up, joy comes in the morning. His love is everlasting, surpass all understanding. Just know His love is all you need.
First giving honor, God, Heavenly Father. I'm moving to your spirit, control every part of my life and all the drama. Even through the pain, even through the problems, I'ma still praise your name. I got a little testimony, wanna tell you about it. Devil tried to bring me down, knock me off the mountain. I told my mom about it, she just started singing, shouting. Said my blessings coming soon, flowing like a fountain. Your faith stronger through your trials and your tribulations. But give it all to God, a little time, a little patience. Name it, claim it, your joy coming in the morning time. Keep this on your mind, even on your grind. Take Him with you everywhere you go to keep your soul fed. She rubs some blessed oil on my forehead. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, take control, make Him whole, joy coming full forward.
When I was down, His love and worked it out. It's alright. When I messed up, His love and worked it out. It's alright. When I was rejected, His love and worked it out. It's alright. Don't have no doubt, His love and worked it out. It's alright. You see, you don't have to worry 'cause it's alright. God's gonna change it. It's alright. You're gonna get good. It's alright. Wait a minute, God's not good. Hey, crying in the midnight hour. He's gonna wipe tears from your eyes. Just keep your head up to the sky. Hey, God is working fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Snoop Dogg, Clark Sisters.